Sorry, we're getting started a few minutes late here. Anyway, we will call this meeting to order. At 9:02 a.m. And I'll offer us a prayer, and then if you would lead us in a pledge.
Yep.
Our Father in heaven, we thank Thee for this morning. I'm grateful for the safety that we've all had getting here to this meeting, and we ask of Thee that Thy Spirit will be here to bless us each, that we might be able to contemplate and do the things that we need to do to help best the county going forward and try to make decisions that would be right and true and just. And we're grateful for the wind to be subsided a little bit. We pray for those people in Arizona that are being affected by these fires, and pray that if it is Thy will that Springerville might be protected and no more people will lose their homes. We ask Thee that if it is Thy will that the winds might stay down, where the firefighters might be protected and gain more control over it. And we ask of Thee, when Thou seest fit, Father, that we might receive moisture upon our country, so that we can be able to care for our livestock and our forest and all that's around us. We just acknowledge Thee, and we are grateful for Thy Son, for His sacrifice for each of us, and we open this meeting in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. So do you want me to go grab you an agenda too?
No, I can.
Huh? No, I'll go grab it. Huh? Okay. All right. So, we'll now, is there any discussion on the agenda? Seeing as there are no discussion, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll make a motion, we approve the agenda.
Second. It's been motioned and seconded that we approve the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approval of minutes. Is there any discussion? Seeing as there's no discussion, is there a motion?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
It's been motioned and seconded that we approve the minutes of April 16th and May the 7th. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We will now open this time for public comment. During this portion of our meeting, we welcome your suggestions and want to hear your concerns. This is not a question and answer period. Speakers will be limited to 3 minutes. The County Commission is not able to act on matters discussed during public comment. Speakers are requested to state their name for the record. Now, yes, ma'am.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Sharon Armijo. I'm here as a concerned citizen in Farmer County. I wanted to bring to your attention your item on the agenda. Lily Laney et al. Versus BOCC seems to be misleading. Lily Laney and others are not suing the Board of County Commission. There are 14 county employees and me that signed an ethics complaint. But there is a lawsuit. I am assuming it would be from the Ethics Commission versus BOCC. Are you guys trying to take away our First Amendment right of freedom of speech? Thank you.
Okay. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Pat Morrison of Lunar Fire and Ambulance. The fire chiefs have concerns about the ordinance that you things that we're concerned about in there that we would like added to the ordinance. Number one, we'd like a definition of what an open burn or open fire is, so that it's clear to people what it is exactly that they're supposed to call in for. The second is we'd like the portion about the ordinance being used for the deployment of resources deleted, because it implies that fire departments will be expected to deploy resources to private land when someone decides to do a burn. This would make us liable if we're on their property, helping them with their burn, the fire department would be liable. And if we fail to respond, looks like we might be liable again. So we have these two concerns, we'd like these changes made to the ordinance. Thank you. And the actual wording was provided to Brad, so if you need the wording, Brad.
I expected to alert you all of this just because it is a concern to my fire chiefs. So I will go ahead and, I was gonna wait for this until my presentation, again, just to alert you all, but there is in that file, there's another one that we can ignore until I get you may have busters there as well.
We have 2 files.
There's one other document in there that I'll bring up when I get my time, but other than that, I didn't expect. But in one of those documents, you'll just find the proposed language that the fire chiefs have discussed for the fire ordinance. There's also a copy for reference of the Grant County ordinance.
Okay. All right, moving on. Anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I'm late.
That's all right.
Good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the commission. I'm here representing the Salado Soil and Water Districts. As the county commission undertakes the important task of revising the Catron County Land Use Plan, I want to emphasize the critical role that local soil and water conservation districts are both authorized and uniquely qualified to play in this process. Pursuant to section 73-20-4F of state law, district supervisors are empowered to formally engage with municipal and county legislative bodies on matters of mutual concern, including land use, water distribution, and the protection of natural resources. The statute not only grants authority to the district, but also affirms the legislature's intent that local governing bodies such as county commission reciprocate by actively consulting and collaborating with their respective districts. Excuse me. Catron County has 3 soil and water districts, Salado, Camado, and San Francisco. These districts offer specialized on-the-ground expertise in land stewardship, water management, and sustainable land use planning. As trusted stewards of these resources, soil and water conservation districts bring decades of experience and localized knowledge that can meaningfully inform long-term planning decisions. Accordingly, I urge the County Commission to formally recognize our districts as a contributing partner in the land use planning and revision process. Meaningful collaboration is essential to ensure that policy decisions reflect the unique realities of Catron County, where water is scarce and deeply valued, land ownership is a complex mix of private, state, and federal holdings, and subdivision development must be carefully managed to preserve our rural character. By working together, we can uphold our traditional ways of life while promoting the long-term well-being of our communities. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for public comment? All right. We thank each one of you who've made comment. Now we will move on to the presentation part of the meeting. First up, we will have Miss Lily Laney.
first up, I'm gonna have Alex.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you today? Good.
Good.
Maverick for the assessor. I have, I guess you could say an issue I'd like to bring forward and hope to have a future conversation about. I get a large number of calls concerning county roads and the definition of county roads. I can't really provide a solution for that unless I see it on a written document, survey plat, deed, easement, anything like that. Some of the questions include how wide is a road, who owns the land under the road. I believe some of the questions have already been forwarded to you because I do request people to contact county manager, Mark Atwood, their commissioner. I usually recommend first that they talk to a surveyor or, other land professional. There's a letter that I think Libby's passing out, and it's
Yes.
just something I have drafted as a general idea of what I already say. Some of the folks I talk to are repeat callers, and they do ask the same questions over and over and over. So this is kind of my response to that. In the future, short of having easements on the county roads, I'd like for us to get together and put together a letter that is, what is a definition of a county road? So that's kind of the request I'm gonna bring forward. And some of those things like Forest Service easements, they just say it's 66 feet wide. Or just to state out, who owns the land. So I can't give legal advice myself to people, even though I have my own ideas. I try to stay very tight-lipped and protective of those kind of things.
So typically, they're asking you what type of easement it is, whether it's prescriptive or express?
Sometimes they're asking me prescriptive or express. Sometimes people are under the impression that, if the county is maintaining a road, that the county then owns the land under the road.
Yeah.
And there's a wide variety. I can speak personally as somebody that started in land surveying in 1999. I've been asking the same question of the county manager's office since way back then. And we did, as surveyors, put on every county road, we would say, this is an easement, this is how wide it is, based on that day's conversation. So it is beneficial to other land professionals as well as the public.
I've been abusing poor Adrian with those types of questions for years now, and it's finally stuck in my head, exactly what the rules are.
Yeah.
So I assume we can put together a basic letter that can be submitted.
We can put together a
folks.
basic letter. I mean,
Yeah.
we are like every other county in this state, and most of our county roads are prescriptive easements, which means they're by use. So guess what? It's not what what we would want especially as a surveyor. There is no big beautiful answer. It's all very fact intense, and there is no just like, well, here's your answer. Each thing has to be looked at independently, but we can we can do a generalized letter. And I'm sorry, it's not just Castle County. It is this and 32 other counties that are exactly in the same boat. And I wish there was a great answer. It would make everyone's lives easier, but there is not.
That 66-foot forest road easement is always a matter of confusion.
Right.
Because if you go beyond the historical width, and if the historical width is 30 feet, you need a NEPA done to get the other. So yeah, we'll put something together that you can either email or text to folks.
And if anybody has any questions, wants me to join in on the conversation, just give me a call.
And I know you've always been very helpful to people that phone. You try to go above and beyond.
I tend to go way beyond where I should, but
Okay.
short of giving legal answers.
I don't believe this is an action item, right?
No.
So we can't.
It's a
Okay.
request for a future.
It could be an action item in the assessor's presentation, couldn't it, Adrian? No,
It can be direction.
okay. Not my turn. This is my
Thank you, Alex.
25 presentation to the commission. In the first slide on our parcel counts and valuations, which is very important. If you're following along in the book, you can see how the residential land went from 3,228 to 3,401 parcels. And our non-residential land actually went down. We didn't lose any land, but that's where we did the combining of the contiguous parcels to comply with state mapping on those UPC codes. So right now our grand total for 2024, we raised from 2024 to 2025, and this is without state assessed, $9,059,522. So that's the added value we put on for this year, which is very, very good. Okay, our appraisals, which are mostly done by David and Scott. These are some of the areas that we worked. This is kind of a little misleading too, because we work everywhere. It depends on where we have sales or where we have new construction or whatever, but we try to focus on certain areas per year to make sure we're covering everything. Our real property ownership transfers. In 2024, we processed 987 documents, which was up a little bit for 2023. These aren't the total numbers that are reported. These are just the ones that affect ownership that we process, and that is mostly Jody. Personal exemptions. The veterans, as you know, was raised from 4,000 to 10,000 for 2025. For 2026, they're doing a percentage. So it used to be if you were 100% disabled, you got 100% off, like your house and 5 acres. Well, now they're doing it where if you're 10% disabled, you get 10% off your value. If you're 25%, you and your wife are both veterans, we have to stack that. Nobody has any clue how that's going to affect us. There is no way to determine, because we don't know what the percentages are, and then you have to have the percentages plus the property value, because 25% off $30,000 is a lot different than 25% off $300,000. So I don't know. But this year in Catherine County, just the veterans going from the 4 to 10, you can see our taxable value that was basically deducted was $856,527. This year it's $1,899,798. So that's just how much it affected Catherine County. 100% disabled, we have 36 now instead of 32. We have had a household 917, and then the over 65 low income value freeze, we went from 75 to 84. Our building permits, which is mostly also handled by Scott, this year we have 42. We are up 1 from last year. Our special methods evaluation for business, personal property, and livestock conditions. Business personal property, we had a significant gain this year of $162,802. Our livestock actually went up this year, $5,595,105. These numbers are subject to change because we'll continue to get in business personal property and livestock renditions, which is probably you, Buster, because you have cows coming in. In manufactured homes, we continue to have manufactured homes being deactivated. So we went from 1,069 to 974, but you can see our value actually went up on those. So that's probably new ones coming in with higher values, and then the older ones they're being deactivated. Our notice of values this year. We normally mail out April 1st, but because of that veterans exemption exemption and waiting for the governor to sign it. We did an extension to May 1st. Last year, we had 9,398 notice of values mailed. This year, we had 7,771 notices of values mailed. There was a total of 11,907, but with the combined mailing, it actually cut the number down too. Our valuation protest, last year, we had 6. One went to formal and we won that. The protest period this year will end June 2nd because of the May 1st mailing date. And right now I have 2 protests. And the main calls before, when we were on the triadic system, where we put a bunch of the UPCs with the extensions under a single owner number, we would have people call and say, you've lost my land, it's not on here, you know, it's not, because of the printing area. Well, this year, we have had no calls about that. The calls have been, 90%, I would say, have been over the minimum bill payment, because our minimum bill payment went from 5 to 10. And that was a decision made last year with the treasurer of what they would send out a minimum bill for, which is not, I mean, a bad thing, because most of that's on the grazing land. And there's thousands of acres they were paying $5. So I you know, maybe that'll kind of help make up for some of the veteran stuff that we're gonna lose. Okay, before I close, or if you have any questions, I just want to state that all of my people are state certified appraisers except for Kimberly.
Working on it.
Kimberly took her first class and she got 100, which is almost unheard of.
She got what?
100.
100?
Congrats.
I told her it was a little disheartening because I think the highest I ever got was like 98, but let's go. But anyway, I do want to thank my staff because they are very helpful, they are very polite, they're friendly, they try to well, like Alex, sometimes I have to tell them just because we can do something doesn't mean we should do something, so it's a little much, but they carried quite a bit of the load because I have been the New Mexico County's board rep, and they can testify. We have been working really hard on the SRS funding that hopefully we're getting something moving. I got an email from Kaylee. She had talked to Cody McCarty, who's God's Cousin's aide, and because of all the stuff and she's worked really hard on this, because of all of this, he's gonna co-sponsor the SRS bill to try to get it passed to pay us retroactive, because last year the reserve schools got around $450,000, this year they got 20. Last year the county got about 1.3 million. This year we got 60, well, a little less than 60,000. So this is something that is very important. And I would like to encourage all of the elected officials, commissioners included, to go to the conferences, because that is where you get the support for the stuff like this and the things. Anyway, and do you guys have any questions for me?
I do, but a lot of mine are personal, so I'll have to do that.
Okay. Those cows you got coming into Buster.
It is, because, you know, like on time periods and stuff, and how I need to declare them or whatever.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Another good year, good success.
Yes, and we are in the process of finishing our evaluation right now. And we talked to Alexandra Peralt, she's a senior analyst with PTD, she's the one that's been doing it. And what did she tell me in that last conversation, Scotty, like 6 times, that our records are super clean. And I think a lot of that has been because of the Tyler stuff too, and where we cleaned up all those UPC codes, and so we're gonna try to maintain and keep it super clean.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you. And to your staff, thank you
Yep.
very much.
Yes, my staff, I can't brag on them enough.
All right. Now we'll move on to presentation by Stantec.
Okay.
Commissioners, my name is Dave Maxwell, and I'm the principal with Stantec, our Silver City office. But Deborah asked us to give you an update on project status. We have several projects with the county, and so that's what we're here to do today is give you an update on the projects. By the way, I am a Catherine County native. Grew up on the Pueblo Creek Ranch out here. We have a general services engineering contract with the county that was effective in February of 2024. One item on your agenda today is to extend that for another 2 years. And we hope that you'll look at that favorably. We like doing business with the county. But we have, I think, about 6 current projects that are going on with you right now. You have this, you should have a report in your packets, I believe. Okay. We have, we're working on Crosby Road and York Ranch Road. That's through an NMDOT LGRF 9 grants, actually. We have the York Ranch NMDOT TPF grant project going on right now. We have the Beaverhead Road, and this is a NMFA Colonius grant. We have a project to replace cattle guards countywide, and that grant will also do some improvements on another portion of Crosby Road. We're working on Mingus Lane down in Glenwood. That's a Colonius grant. And then we have a TPF grant for Road Grade Road down by Glenwood that we're working on. And I'll go through those one by one. We have information in the report on the status of the funding that we received for those. The first one that I want to talk about is Crosby Road and York Ranch Road, the LGRF grants that we actually received 9 different grants for those projects. And that was in 2019, 2020, 2021 that we received those grants. The table that is included in your report shows the status. We completed the design plans and specifications for Crosby Road. Crosby Road had been damaged by flooding. And Stantec completed the plans for that. Now, we did that in 2 phases. First of all, the county road forces did the earthwork and base course and fencing for that project. And then we hired a contractor, Chemo Constructors, to complete the several concrete crossings. Well, I think there was 3. And then some riprap protection for the banks of the roadway. Now, altogether, the NMDOT provided $1,544,794. The county match for that was 20%, $428,809. The county wanted to do as much of their match as possible doing in-kind work with county forces. We have spent all of the NMDOT match. That mostly went to the construction contractor. So that has been totally expended. We've expended, out of $428,809, we've expended $347,362 of the county match. So all that remains on that grant right now is $81,447 that needs to be expended by the county for their match. And what the county is going to do with that is replace or actually add quite a few culverts on York Ranch Road in Forest. So I think that's that one. We're also working on York Ranch Road. That's a NMDOT TPF grant. And the NMDOT gave you $2,185,000 for that. The county cash match on that is $115,000. Now the work that's going to be completed is the first 10 miles starting at County Road 603, and we're going to be doing reshaping the road, widening it a little bit, but doing a whole lot of drainage improvements, be installing a lot of culverts there and improving the ones that are there. We are currently working on the design plans for York Ranch Road. Stantec is. We should finish those probably by sometime in July and be ready to advertise for construction bids. Stantec will be submitting probably at the June commission meeting a task order to do the construction management on that project. So that'll be coming up. Now, the remaining 10 miles of roadway we'll do in a future phase, as we're able to obtain funding. Also, a plan for the future is to put base course on that, base course surfacing. But, that's a ways off, and probably about $4 million more we'll have to obtain for the roadway. The third project is the Beaverhead Road. That is a NMFA Colonius grant. There was actually two grants. The first grant was for design. We obtained $146,250 in grant money, and then loan money $16,250. We've also recently obtained money for construction from the Colonius program, $1,599,328 plus a county loan amount of $399,832. Now, what we're doing on Beaverhead Road, and this is down here by the little sawmill, starts at the end of the highway, New Mexico 435, and goes to the U.S. Forest Service boundary. And we're widening that out just a little bit. We're doing paving improvements. We're putting in drainage improvements. I think there's a spring that goes across the road that we're going to correct there. Stantec's already completed the design plans for that. They've been approved already, and so all we're waiting on is for the grant agreement for the Colonius portion of the construction amount to be approved, and I don't think that's going to happen until sometime in July. After we get that, then we'll be able to go out to bid and get a contractor to do the construction work on Beaverhead. Okay. Just ask me questions if you have any on any of these. We recently obtained funding from the NMDOT LGRF program to replace cattle guards countywide. I think there's a total of 16 cattle guards that are going to be replaced countywide. The county road department's going to do that in force themselves. We're also replacing some culverts on Sunflower Mesa Road. And then the other part of that is to improve Crosby Road from the end of what we're doing right now, all the way to New Mexico 12. And that's mainly shaping the road and then putting base course and improving the drainage a little bit. And the county road department's going to be doing most of that. The county's got to complete construction on that by the end of this year. So, the other one going on is Mingus Lane, down in Glenwood. And we're going to do Mingus Lane from the highway to the end of the road. We're going to be putting in curb and gutter and sidewalks and improving the drainage there. Hot mix paving. We got a Colonias grant to do the design sometime back, $88,364 from the Colonias program, and then the county had to put in $9,818. Last week, we put in an application for construction. Last week, that was awarded. So we do have construction money for Mingus Lane now, it looks like. They'll have to close the loan grant, which could be, like I say, July, something like that, and then we'd be able to go out to bid on that. Stantec has already completed the preliminary design plans on that. We had review with the county. Now we've got to finish the final design plans, and I believe you're going to be considering a task order for that today as one of your items. So we anticipate that construction on that could be put off till sometime around the summer of 2026.
I've got a question on Mangus Lane. You can see the design phase was awarded in 2023. I met with your team over a year ago on Mangus Lane, and there was some issues as to why the design hadn't started when it was granted, and fingers are pointed both ways on that. But I see now that only the preliminary design is done. Mm-hmm. And we still have to finish up design.
Yeah, yes, sir.
Why is the design taking so long?
Commissioners, again, George Escala with Stantec. Commissioner, to go along with that, the funding was awarded in 2023. Task order for surveying and preliminary design was executed on August 14th, 2024. So we've been moving along with the design. We did have a design review meeting in March of this year. At that point in time, we had talked about a potential amendment to our task order for final design. We initially had it planned or scheduled for the April commission meeting, but it's been postponed until today's meeting. So again, we would, if the amendment is approved today, we would have the design wrapped up here within a month. And again, although we still need to complete final design, you were successful, or the county was successful in obtaining Colonias funding for the construction. So with that, you were awarded, well, not really awarded, you were notified of award this past Thursday of Colonias funding. The official award won't come to the county until the first part of July. The funding still needs to go before the New Mexico Finance Authority Board at the end of June. The county will be receiving their award letter either at the end of June or first part of July. And then again, there's a process required in order for the grant loan closing to occur. So if you receive your award letter in the first part of July, You have until October 31st to satisfy what's called the readiness to proceed items. And then there's a 60 to 75 day period from there to where you can close on the grant. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, you may have on today's agenda a resolution for the Beaverhead project in order so that they can move forward with closing. So that's, again, thus the reason for the timeline. Although we're not complete with the design yet, we will be done within a month. And again, we're still gonna have to wait until probably the spring of 2026 before you would go out to bid because of the timing associated with the loan grant agreement.
Okay, all right. So we have until June to finish the final design. That's next month.
No, your grant expires October 21st of 2025. That's when your grant expires.
The preliminary design is done, and I believe you said you're gonna go in for final design. You'll have that done in June.
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right. Is there anything you need from the county to finish that final design?
Not for the final design. Again, because we met with Deborah and Mark back in March. We reviewed the plans. They requested some minor modifications, so those modifications will be incorporated into the final design phase.
Oh, okay, so you'll be done with the final design by sometime in June?
Yes, sir.
You need nothing from the county, it's all, the ball's in your court?
Well, that's part of the final design phase, and prior to moving into construction, and within the amendment in your packet today, there is professional services for preliminary design. There's also work permits that are gonna be required prior to construction, and those work permits are basically allowing the contractor onto private property to make a smooth transition from private property to the back of the drive pad.
Oh.
So those work permits will need to be done prior to construction. And then there is a need for a drainage easement at the end of Mangus Lane. I remember the gentleman's property at the end of Mangus Lane is Holman, and I can't remember the gentleman right before Holman's property on the right-hand side. But there will need an easement, drainage easement required, but again, that won't slow us down for design.
Is that the county's responsibility, the work permits and the drainage easements?
So we will prepare the work permits, and the way it's presented within the amendment is that we would prepare the work permits, get them over to the county, and then the county would meet with the residents and get them executed.
Okay,
Because basically that is more cost effective for the county to do that.
oh, okay, all right, so I'm just trying to get this figured out. June, the final design will be done. July, it'll be submitted to Colonius?
No, sir. No, sir. In June, we'll be done in June, and basically we wait until the first part of 2026 before you can move forward with construction.
So I'm confused because you just said that the end date was October 1st, 2025 for completion of the grant.
Yes, so that's, again, so there's two phases associated with Mangus Lane. You received a Colonius grant for the design portion, and the design portion
Oh, right.
expires October 21st,
Design.
2025.
Oh, okay,
So again, so we'll be done with the design
Okay,
way in advance of the October deadline.
okay,
Your next deadline is the money that you just that you'll be receiving for construction.
okay.
And again, you were awarded that, or will be awarded officially in July of this year. That money will expire in 2028.
Oh, okay, so July, we should receive the letter that we're funded.
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Then we have, how much time will you give us to get together with the residents for work permits and drainage easement sign-offs?
Well, again, the work permits you'll have from July through the first part of 2026 to get those executed.
But when are you going to give us the paperwork for the work permits?
We should have those to you in July.
In July, okay. And the information for the drainage easements?
That one, I'm gonna say either the end of July, first part of August.
Okay, July and August. So that will give us until October 31st to get that work done,
The easement at a minimum.
and the work permits.
Well, the work permits aren't critical, because as part of the readiness to proceed items, Adrian's gonna have to sign off that the county has procured
Okay.
or obtained the legal easement.
Okay,
So that's gonna be one of the requirements for the October deadline. The work permits aren't as critical.
all right. Thank you for helping us obtain the money for the construction.
No problem. Again, we're here to help in any way that we can.
Okay.
Any other
Sorry.
questions on,
No, you're fine.
Angus Lane?
So the $27,000 change order on top of the initial agreement?
That's an amendment in your packet today for consideration, and
Mhm.
again, that's for
And
the
what-
final design phase, the work permits, and the legal description associated with the drainage easement. So if you look at the total funding, the total funding for the design phase was $108,000, including GRT. So with this amendment, if approved today, gets you to that $108,000. So we stayed within that budget, although it's cost a little bit more, but we're honoring that commitment of staying in at the 108.
So it will be covered by the grant.
Yeah, but I understand that part, but I just don't understand as much as your business does this and everything, why that can't be in the initial agreement, or, cause it looks to me like you're saying, okay, there's $108,000 available here.
No.
We're gonna do the job for $108,000. Like, why when you're bidding the job, why isn't the job just bid for what it's supposed to cost? Does that make
Let me
sense?
answer that. You know, usually engineering is done in phases.
Right.
And the reason is because you don't know what's gonna happen. You know, project evolves. And so you generally start off with a preliminary design. When we did that, we didn't know for sure whether we'd have easements to get to the end, you know, or what would be required in final design. And that's why you do it in phases, is because, you know, if you don't, well then, when you get to the end, the final charges may be way over exaggerated or way under exaggerated. We're paid for our time. That's,
Right.
you know, so we estimate the time that each thing is going to take. We don't always know the full scope of work that's finally gonna be required on a project when we start off. Okay?
Right. Yeah, I haven't been a commissioner for a long time, but I
Yeah.
know that never once has a company come back and said, you know what? We spent less time on this than we thought that we needed, so we're gonna award back
Right?
$10,000.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
never, ever. Anita, has that ever happened that you've known of? No, so the phase deal, and that's why I just don't understand. Because in my line of work, if I quote somebody something, that's what it is. And I would like to go back and render shoot fees and,
If you know
Delivery
exactly
fees.
everything that's going to be required at the beginning, that's the way to do it. But you don't always, especially with engineering, you don't. You don't
Right.
know what's gonna be required. And so it's more fair to us and to you if we do it as we know what the true scope is going to be.
I guess what we're trying to point out is, this happens on every project. In fact, we scorched George pretty good about 5 months ago. I'm sure he remembers that. It seems as though at the end of the design project, Stantec always comes back and says, we need the extra money, but that extra money is just to get to the total dollar amount of the design. Right? And it never above it, just to the total dollar amount.
It probably, like, I think like George said, was actually above it, but we honored the amount that you have in the budget.
You know, and again, kind of going to Commissioner, you know, about the statement about never giving money back. There have been projects where we've had to revert, or the county's had to revert because the full amount of the funding was not used. You know, and sometimes the majority of that is when we do the time and expense, when we bill on time and expense. And again, that's for every hour worked or expense, you know, mileage, you know, we bill for what we do. And if there is money left over, you know, I have been in a number of projects where funding has had to be reverted. You know, whether it be through the Colonias program or through the DOT. But again, like I said, like Dave was mentioning, and I've mentioned this in the past, we like to do it in phases, again, to see to make sure if there's any changes that are required. You know, similarly, like when we met with Deborah and Mark down in Mangus Lane, you know, we provided them our preliminary design, and, you know, they said, okay, well, could you tweak this? Can you make this slope not as steep and stuff like that? So again, that's why we do it in phases, again. Just to make sure that we're providing the county or client a good end product for what you would like to see. And again, I'll be quite honest with you, yes, you know, that 108, when it's totally said and done, again, we're honoring that because that's what we know you have, but it's actually costing us a little bit more to provide those services.
Yeah, we hear your explanation. I guess it would be better to say, okay, our bill's 108, and then at the end of the job you say, guess what, guys, we only spent 105. You know, instead of coming back and saying you need money to the 108.
Again, we're not going over budget or anything like that. We're not asking, again, I hear what you're saying, Commissioner, and, you know, believe me, you know, I've related to Dave and others. You know, if you would like for us, we can come in, we can make assumptions, be conservative, be on the high side and say, okay, well, we think this is gonna be 130,000. Then, well then, what would we do? Again, we're making assumptions that may or may not be true. And in this case, doing it in phases, like Dave was mentioning, we're trying to be fair, not only to our client, but to ourselves as well.
If we give you the full price right up front, you know, we would have to make assumptions that, worst case scenario, which may happen or may not.
Well, yeah, I understand, you know, the reasonings that you're saying. I just don't understand why you wouldn't say, you know what, we're gonna do it for the 108,000 that the grant will cover, and we will accept any risks in that deal, and a done deal. Instead of come back 3 different times and get to the 108,000. You know, you understand what I'm saying?
I understand.
Like,
I'll tell you, so, you know, you mentioned that you've never had an engineer get back. We have on several occasions.
for Catron County?
I don't know if it's been Catron County.
You did give us a reduction on,
Yeah.
on one project,
Yeah.
about 3 months ago.
But that was because
We
there was,
scorched George.
but that was because there was an unforeseen
Yeah.
charge
No,
that,
that's- Our
Yes.
intent is not to make all our money on one project. Our intent is to
Right.
establish a long-term relationship. We believe you do that by being honest,
yes, sir?
and so that's what we try to do.
So George, I spoke with some of the residents along Mangus Lane, and they're willing to work with us on the drainage easements. But I can't tell you how important it is that we get all the paperwork we need from you to have them sign in July. So we're ahead of this thing when our deadline comes up in October.
So again, there'll be two different types of documents. The work permits, again, that's just allowing, at the time of construction, for the contractor to get onto private property, and again, put the base course and make that smooth transition. So there is no easement there. In the amendment that you have before you today, that's where the legal description would come in. So we would provide an exhibit and a legal description associated with the easement needed, provide that over to the county, and then hopefully Adrian can draft up whatever document is needed so that either the owner of the property would grant that easement, or, you know, maybe they're gonna want some kind of compensation. But again, we would draft that up for the county to continue moving forward with that document.
Okay. July it is.
Yes, June completion of final design, work permits in July, easement by August. Is that what you have?
I'd sure like to do, well, you said the work permits are not as important as the drainage easements,
Yes.
so I'd put the drainage easements ahead of the work permit.
So with that, the reason I say July for the work permits, because those do not require the same level of effort as the legal description for the easement. So we'll be working on everything concurrently.
Okay.
And if we can get it to you before then, we certainly will.
All right, thank you.
Well, I got one more.
Yep.
Main Grade Road. We're working on doing a conceptual study right now for Road Grade Road. We do have felonious money for design already. And we've obtained TPF, NMDOT TPF money for construction in the amount of $1,995,000 with a $105,000 county match. Road Grade Road is challenging in that, you know, it goes through Forest Service land. And so you talked about that 66-foot permit. What we want to do on that is to improve the safety. It'd be flattening out the curves, widening the road a little bit, doing drainage improvements, putting in base course afterwards. Could involve installation of some guardrail. The challenge we're up against is, first of all, it's on Forest Service land, so you have to try to work in that 66 foot if you can. Because of the significant cuts we're going to have there and so on, you know, it's going to be hard to stay within 66 feet, so we're going to have to work pretty close with the Forest Service on this and get their authorization for whatever we do.
We can help you with that.
Yeah, and you know, and of course that'll require the permitting process. You have to do a lot of environmental work, etc. So that's what we're working on right now.
When will the design phase be complete on Road Grade Road?
So that one, Commissioner, kind of similar to Mangus Lane, again, we're doing that one in phases. So right now we have a task order for the scoping project development, again, which we're working on the alignments. So in the future, I'll be coming back before you with an amendment for the actual design.
Well,
So the design hasn't commenced, and within the report, you'll see there that the expiration for the Colonias funding is October 20th of this year. And if you go down to the fifth bullet, you know, I do have in there, as a result of the effort required with the Forest Service, a time extension to the current October deadline is going to be required. So again, it's all going to be dependent on the requirements and what's going to be required of us, or the county and us as a team from the Forest Service in order to get that permitting in place.
well, you know what I'm looking at. The construction expires June of 27.
Yes, sir.
You can't eat up all that time with design.
No, yes, sir.
So I'm asking, when will the design be done? And it should be done at least a year before the construction starts.
Yes.
So essentially, we have until June of '26.
Yes.
You gotta commit, it'll be done. Well, is a year sufficient time for the construction?
Yes.
Okay. Gotta commit, it's gonna be done by June of '26. Final design.
I would like to say that, but unfortunately, we have a third party that we're gonna have to deal with,
Forest Service?
which is the Forest Service. And again, because of the 66-foot right-of-way and us going beyond that, again, I hear what you're saying. I'd like to commit to it,
Yeah.
but again, I don't wanna give you any kind of false.
We just really don't want the delays to be on Stantec's side.
No, sir.
Okay.
No, and like Dave says, we've, going back to the engineering days, we certainly appreciate the fact that Ketchikan County has been a long-standing client of ours. And again, we're always here to work with you and try to get you the best end product as possible.
Okay. I'm making notes, as are you, I saw that.
Yeah, the unknown with Rograde Road is how long it'll take to get that Forest Service permit. The design isn't in the problem, we can get that done pretty quick, but it's that permit that's gonna take time.
Well, if you can get hold of us, we might be able to help out with the expediency in that.
How close are you to going to the Forest Service saying we need to go beyond the 66 feet?
We're actually, Dave and I and our designer are meeting tomorrow to where we can go over the alignment and kind of a typical layout. So I would say after we agree and we get those items addressed, we're hoping to schedule a meeting with Mark here within the next 2 weeks. After that, then we would go to the Forest Service. We want to make sure that Mark is comfortable with our proposed layout and the proposed alignment.
Yeah, I agree. Mark's input is very important. When you go to the Forest Service, I'd like to be in that meeting, please.
Okay.
So Mark will be in a meeting with you in 2 weeks to discuss the easements.
Well, it'll be to discuss the proposed alignment and layout of the roadway improvements. So once Mark's comfortable with that layout, then again, we look to go to the Forest Service after that.
Okay.
And we'll make sure to invite you, Commissioner.
That's all of you.
Okay?
It's a lot of work. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Morning, I'm Matt with BLM. Does the York Ranch Road go through the BLM land?
It does go through some BLM land, yes.
Okay. Can we get the design for that, just to review? Kind of had a situation with Socorro County where the county bladed through a park site, so we want to try to avoid that as much as possible.
Okay.
But we will.
So get some plans to BLM.
Yes, sir, please.
That will do that.
Thank you.
All right. There's no other questions.
Good,
Thank you.
Good report. Thank you.
Okay, are we good to keep moving on? Okay. Need a break, Sherry? We're good. Keep rolling. Okay, we'll move on to Commissioner Activities Report. Anybody want to start?
Go ahead.
You want to go? Yeah, we'll just go this way.
You start with me?
Yeah, ladies first.
Okay. All right, so it's been super, super busy. I probably won't talk long because I've had a cold for like 2 weeks. But we've been doing a thing. It's called Wolves Among Us, Living with Wolves. and that website's launched, and have gotten flyers and stuff made and passed it out to all the schools so that people can be more aware of what to do whenever they encounter a wolf. Trying to encourage all the residents whenever they have a wolf interaction to call the sheriff's office and report it, just so that we can keep a running log of that. I want to give big kudos to Keith for arresting the guy that was harassing all the commissioners and the county manager, and that was a big deal. I don't think I slept for a few weeks, but anyway, they got him handled and arrested. And there's Hildog, or there's Cibola, Sierra, Socorro, and Catron counties that have all supported or declared the emergency. And I know in June, isn't that meeting today, Adrian? Does Hildog meet today?
No, they'll meet in June.
Or it's the June meeting? The June meeting, I know.
They might have a special meeting and approve that this month.
Okay, yeah, they were super excited to join as well, and so Curry County reached out as well, wanting to support us even though they don't have wolves. I know I'm gonna go down for that conference in June and speak, and so a lot of support around the state as far as the wolves go. And anyway, I don't have anything more. It's been super busy with a lot of things, but I'll let I guess I should praise Hayden for going to Socorro County last week.
Ah, that's no big deal. It's a pretty drive.
I had to. That's funny. I had to be at my daughter's school function stuff, so I couldn't be there. But from what I heard, he did really good, and they passed that, and
Oh,
so
they did pass it in school?
Yeah.
they did. Yeah, it was unanimous, right?
Yeah, I'll bring it up.
And
Okay.
so anyway, I heard a lot of good things from Hayden, and big kudos there. So that's my report.
All right. Well, yeah, there's always multiple things going on with roads and stuff, and talking with people and going out and seeing what potential problem areas might be there. And then with the wolf thing, yeah, I'm hoping that we can make headway with this. As all of you know, that when it was first initiated, Highway 60 was the northern boundary that the wolf was supposed to be able to, well, first it was even further south than that. And then it was changed to
60 and then 40.
Then it was changed to 60, now it's changed to 40. And I had never had any interaction with wolves at all, and Audrey always told me, just wait. She said, you don't know what you're dealing with and stuff. And now it's been taken to my front yard, literally. So I ended up killing a wolf this last week. I didn't know what it was, but it was going after my dog, and I shot it and then went up, and it was a collared wolf. So if you haven't had any experience with the wolves, just give it time. If you live in Catron County, it's probably going to happen to you, because they are expanding. They're expanding their range, and they are not scared to come in your yard. And I know that Cibola County now is dealing with lots of livestock depredation on the southern end, and so as more counties become affected for this, they're going to understand what we've been going through here, and we're going to have a little more political power to get something done there. So I don't even remember when the budget meeting was. Did we have our meeting before or after?
2 weeks ago or something.
Yeah.
It was before.
So the meetings just kind of run on. So definitely attending meetings and trying to do presentations and move things forward for the county.
Okay. So I'm going to start out with some of the phone calls that I've been getting that I'm going to share with everybody. I've been told that we need to spend a little more time in managing our refuge policy. That we don't know what we're doing, that we need to spend some time on it, get the costs down, make sure that everybody can dump their metal in the closest location. And I have to explain to people, we've spent hundreds of hours on this, and we're doing everything we can to make sure that our dumps are being managed properly, but hundreds of hours just is not enough, apparently. I also have to quell a rumor that I resigned last month.
Really?
Apparently.
You didn't tell us?
Yeah, well, I didn't know. So I'm explaining to people, if they hear they need to give me a call, you know, and I'll be happy to talk to them. There's also a rumor going on out there that $1 million have been embezzled from the county through the grant process. And I had to try to tackle that, so.
I haven't heard any of this.
Oh, well, you know, Glenwood, they're,
All the corruption's on the side.
yeah, they're starting to be active in Glenwood. Spent quite a bit of time talking with Forest Service on Negrito Bridge and the effects it's gonna have on our local economy, but I see that's in the agenda, so I'll bring that up a little bit later. Our Glenwood Park, they're chomping at the bit to start spending some of the money and do the park improvements. But unfortunately, we've got a moratorium of no POs to be issued against grants, May and June.
Correct.
Right.
So, and Becky can speak on that. I believe July 1st is when we'll be able, and that's a DFA requirement.
God bless New Mexico. For 2 months, we got to shut down while they catch up on their paperwork.
Even as an emergency purchase, we can move forward.
Yeah, an emergency purchase. I did go to Socorro, gave a presentation there regarding public safety in the wolves. I mean, when a commissioner is having to start shooting his dogs, it truly does mean that what we've been anticipating is becoming a reality. The locals in Socorro County that are now being affected by wolves, many of them were there, and the testimonies they were giving were just fantastic.
In Socorro?
In Socorro, yeah.
Have they had interactions there? Like in the town?
Oh, yes, yeah.
In Socorro?
In Socorro. And of course, they hate to send their children out to play under threats of wolf attack. I mean, so anyway, Socorro County is supporting us, and they passed a resolution in opposition to the wolves. Secure rural school. I'm changing subjects. Secure rural schools. Wow, Lily and I did some work on that. So we are all losing millions of dollars. The counties in not just New Mexico but all the western states. Why this hasn't made the national news is beyond me. I don't understand it. However, there is hope for us to get money for 24-25. The reconciliation bill that you've all heard about it, in the appropriations section, there is language for SRS to be supported through 26 and for distributions for 24-25. So we just need to get that bill passed without any tremendous markups. The Senate hasn't seen it yet. The House has. So there is hope. And I do understand that Gabe Vasquez is pushing out a separate bill, 1383, in support of us getting our distributions for 24-25. So there's hope that our roads will be maintained this year. If we don't get the money that we're looking for, the roads will be the primary will be primarily affected. So anyway, that's what I've got.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Forest Service report. I didn't hear back from Randall. Is anybody here from, I don't think anybody here is from the Forest Service today.
They didn't want to answer
Yeah,
our questions.
well, they have a lot going on with the local fires and stuff, and I know that they're tasked with a lot of different things there. Manager report?
Yes, so this morning, first off, I want to say it's about 8:30, I did receive an email. There are now statewide fire restrictions passed down from the state for 18 counties. Catherine is one of them. So I believe Pat had some concerns about wanting to kind of modify the language of what we had done in the resolution, but the state, doing those restrictions on a statewide level kind of trumped that. So I had sent that to all of you. I had asked Brad to also email all his fire chiefs so they're aware. So it's been really, really busy. I also passed out this morning, I have passed out a letter that I received last night from a Warriors Oasis in Quamato area. They're kind of, they're off of the 60. So they've been working with our District 1 guys up there in Quamato with Bobby Lane and his crew, and we rarely get kudos to staff, so if you guys get a chance to read that, it's very nice. It's very nice what they said and the fact that they took the time. And so, to Mark, where's Mark? Mark was around here somewhere. Oh, he must have left.
He's right there.
Oh, there you are. So just pass on to Bobby and his crew that, there's good things being said. So we have met with the Forest Service regarding the beacon project at the airport. We have 4 beacons that kind of surround the reserve airport. 2 of them are operational, 2 of them are no longer operational and have not been for several, looks like decades. But we only required to have 2. So there is a rehab process. Unfortunately, we have the problem that gaining access to improve those beacons is proving to be difficult. There are some improvements that need to happen through the Forest Service, so we need to get a conditional use permit to improve access there. Even then, you're talking about maybe, a side-by-side kind of width. It won't be a vehicle. Okay, so we're working with them on that. Right now we have the airport rehab project that's out to bid. I believe it closes on May 29th, if I remember correctly. So you'll see that on our website. And so that we are working with KSA on that it's an FAA grant. So, and that is resurfacing of the runway, and we also have improvements to the AWAS system and the actual pilot's lounge. Okay, so all of those things are in there. I met with Quamato Water District on Friday about the feasibility of connecting to their water system because the well test came back as we had kind of contaminants in that existing well that was from 1949, if I remember correctly, and I'm asking BLM because it was BLM property that they deeded to the county. So it predates any of the the state engineer's reports, but from the well sample that we took, it's not a viable water source.
So, quick question there, Philip. Do they think that those contaminants are because of how old the well casing is and not necessarily from the water?
So we're not sure on if the well test was done in such a way that would have prevented the actual casing coming in contact with water, right? And so we did have lead, but we also had fluoride, and the fluoride was the bigger concern when we went through the actual test report with the water company. They said the fluoride is the biggest issue. Now their thought process was, we can get a filtration system and work on that, but the problem with that is it takes a water, they have different classifications of maintaining that system. So that system would have to be maintained by a guy certified to do that, and that would be an exponential cost monthly to the county, right?
Haven't that well been in non-use for years?
Yes, and I wanna say at least 15, if not longer.
That's why I'm saying,
Did they pump it?
just from the casing.
Yeah, it's.
Well, we did have lead and there was fluoride, and those were the two that were the biggest concern. There was, some other things, but, Quamato said that they also dealt with them. And it wasn't manganese and stuff like that, but, the biggest was the fluoride. That was the biggest concern.
Right.
So, but we don't know if they, flushed it, if they treated it prior to, because it is stagnant water.
So, the well's on county property, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
So it is part of the county water rights that we own?
Well, see, we have to apply to the state engineer to basically apply for those water rights, because it's unclaimed at this point. And I'm looking to BLM because I know that you were involved in some of the research. I mean, their staff did a lot of research on that well. And my understanding in speaking with the state engineer is we can apply for ownership of those water rights. However, there was also the thought process of entering into an agreement through the grant process, and I've spoken with Priscilla about this, of trying to incorporate that water system into the Quamato mutual water system and really beef up their system. Put a large water tank, say 50,000 gallons, and make it a loop system to really improve that. Then at that point, the state engineer told me, okay, hold off on applying for the water rights because at that point you have to do a water diversion application, right?
So, I would really like to recover that well.
Yes.
So if it means we pump it
Right.
or pull the old
The
casing
casing.
out, something. But what type of water right would the state engineer allow us?
Well, they said it was a pre-basin well. And so they were going to do some research to see when the Gallup Basin was actually created.
Irrigation, industrial, commercial?
See, even if we,
hope not.
yeah, so it's too early in the process to say if there's restrictions on it.
If we can apply and make it a commercial water right, then it's valuable and it would be worth trying to recover the well. I'm confident. And of course, a commercial water right can be used for irrigation or whatever purposes we have. So if you don't mind asking the state engineer the volume in their records, and would it be a commercial water right?
Yeah, and they don't have any records on it.
Okay, well, if we can apply for a commercial, and then we can determine the volume.
Yeah, most of those wells up there aren't gonna be high volume wells.
Okay.
Or without a massive storage system would support any kind of irrigation or type like that.
Are you finding fluoride in any of the other wells up there?
And that was the one that Quamato Water District said was really unique before.
Yeah, we gotta pump it and clean it. See what's going on.
Yeah, that's why I was,
Okay.
But if we can only get a single residential, a quarter acre out of it, I don't think it would be worth the cost to recover it.
Okay. So that's taken a lot of coordination there. Did go to Las Cruces for the Colonias infrastructure meeting, so we were there. Dealt with numerous complaints throughout the county regarding dump sites on residential property. So between Rancho Grande, some locations off of 603, there's multiple locations within subdivisions, and I'm gonna have to work with Mark on seeing if we can do maybe kind of tweak some of our dumping ordinances and kind of do a little firmer language with some of them. We also have some structures, Rancho Grande sticks out, burnt out structures that are just shells of, residential structure there was a fire, but there's been no cleanup after, 8 months, and it's, within 50 feet of somebody else's house. So, so there's something I feel, nobody's complained about it yet. And so we are having to be complaint-based, right? So, because we don't have the staff to go out and police everybody. So if we maintain our complaint-based operation, we're a little bit better there.
Well, have you had a lot of complaints? Like, I know I've had some calls in Luna for like people's trash that's it's been blowing everywhere. There's a couple of properties that are just full of it, but there's really not a way to enforce anything.
So if you're getting calls, have them call me.
Okay.
Because I will go out there, and a couple times I've dragged Mark with me, and we'll go out there and we'll inspect them, because it does fall under the dumping. We have an ordinance for that,
Okay.
especially household trash. But where the difficulties are, okay, now we have tires, and we have vehicles and things like that. We can't enforce those things as much as we can enforce the household trash.
Although those fall under the nuisance ordinance, it can be
Right.
enforced in the same way. So we do have the tools to enforce them. We just need
Because
to
there's
issue the citations.
there's a few pastures where people's household trash, it's not even just a little bit, it's just when the wind blows, because they're not dumping it, it is just blowing. It's nasty looking, but I didn't know if there was some way to
Yeah, have them call
make
me.
them clean up.
Well, have them call me, because we can, that's one thing I'm spending a lot of time on lately.
Okay.
So we're actually, I have a meeting on Thursday with Better City, which is through the COG, to gather some information about rehab housing. So we have some structures around here that are vacant that can use some love. So I want to see what that's about. That was part of a study that we were involved in about 2 months ago, when we said that was an issue that we had in this countywide. So, and that's, the wildlife investigator has had 72 calls, and just from May 1st to May 18th. Okay, we had 90 calls since January 1st. Okay, but 72 in just 18 days. That's pretty substantial. And also I want to introduce Donna. Donna's, we flew a position for a temporary grant management administrator. It's limited term, just to get us through to the beginning of the next fiscal year. To try to get us our grant reimbursement. So Donna applied for that, and we are very grateful she's here. But we need to capture the reimbursements that were due, and trying to get that, Donna, welcome aboard.
Thanks.
Thank you, Donna.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome. I'm still just trying to get up to speed, but we'll get there.
We're gonna put the pressure on you.
So,
Without SRS funding, boy, your job's gonna be important.
so that concludes my report.
Okay. Okay, any departments that want to report here, and then we'll
Wait,
give
hold
Matt
on.
some,
Can
what?
I say something?
Yep, let's hear
Sorry,
it.
Deb, I was gonna ask you, so where are we at on the CLA?
Yes, my other hat. Okay, so we still have not heard back from NMDA, so we are unable to process claims, pay on people's claims until we hear back from them. NMDA was provided the final reports to close out Sierra County April 22nd. What NMDA has to do is they have to issue Sierra County a check. Sierra County spent, say, $36,000. So these are reimbursable grants. And so NMDA has to pay Sierra County back. NMDA can't have 2 open POs with 2 separate counties. So they have to send Sierra County their check, close that PO, open one with Catron County. As soon as I get notification that we have it open, I can start issuing the payments. I have ranchers basically that submitted depredations at the beginning of February that were provided to Sierra County. that still have not been paid to date because Sierra County didn't process them. They switched the fiscal agent and I can't mail checks yet. So I have been able to make about 5 payments on probable depredations because the probables are paid out of county funds and not NMDA funds. So but I only had 5 probables and I have about to date 62 depredations that I need to process, so.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm gonna be spending a lot of time on CLLA in the near future, as soon as we get notified by NMDA that we can pay.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, any departments that would like to report? Yes, Brad?
I'll just go first if it
Okay.
pleases everyone.
Yep.
So that's just a copy of what I sent you yesterday, just for your reference. I've been working with Becky on getting our budgets up to date. One of the main challenges that I've dealt with that is most other departments, they just have the one budget, whereas I'm trying to compile almost 20 different budgets for everyone else. So, but she's helping me with that. She's stepping in on my behalf with a lot of the other fire chiefs to get their end of the year requirements. I've had some problems with Triadic, and some of the spreadsheets that I've been using they have mixed results between either being outdated or having line items that need to be added. But it's mostly just my concern at this point. I mostly just wanted to step up today just to give you all, since I am still new in my position, kind of an update on what I've been doing the last month and a half or so. So we got the fire protection fund done. I've been contacting with state and federal agencies, trying to step up into my role as prospective emergency manager. The second packet that you have in front of you with the big dark page is what Vicki Schreiber has been working on. She's working on a private program that will help us get reimbursement for ambulance calls and EMS services. So far, she has been able to identify around 60 to 70 or so reports that the county should be able to be reimbursed on, which should come out to almost $12,000.
No, go ahead.
Oh. Small beans, I know, but every little bit that we can get. So I think it'll be a good program, and we're working on it with her together. Megan Bartasevich and I are working with the State Fire Marshal Grants Council, which is, they disburse funds from the leftover fire protection funds every year. And we're going to try to use that to purchase from Aaron McCrae his old Type 1 apparatus once he receives his new Type 1 that they purchased this year. We're working with him to determine what equipment might need to be either purchased for the old apparatus, because he's going to take some equipment, radios, pumps, hoses, the usual stuff, to the new equipment. So the grant should at least cover the purchase of the apparatus itself, and then we would have to go through our own collective budgets to purchase any equipment that is going to be taken away. One of the requirements of the grant is that if there's going to be radio equipment attached, which is why we'll probably need to purchase it out of our own funds, that it needs to be 700 megahertz capable, which I've been told is not, the county is not capable of right now. But I'm working with Larry Menez, who's kind of our de facto radio specialist and communication specialist, to see how that will go. So that will be ongoing. Everything else is sort of, again, small beans. Deb and I had an evaluation meeting just last Thursday, so if you have any questions about what I'm doing and how good I'm doing it, I'll let you ask her. The one other thing that I did want to bring up was, Pat kind of brought it up earlier for me, was just the changes in language to the fire ordinance. I know that we've all been told that it is not really a concern just because we've already addressed this, but it is of concern to the fire chiefs, and they want to, at the very least, be in consideration of changing this language. I have more information if anybody ever wants to follow up on me about it, but the basics there is just what we have provided as language changes to the ordinance, and then on the second page there's an example from Grant County of how they have their ordinance written. I think the primary concern is just about the language implying that they have an obligation to show up to any kind of burn, and there's no real stipulations on that. But again, that's explained in there, and I think, Pat, if you want to, anything you'd like to add?
No, I think I said it, you know.
Yeah.
The main concern we have is we don't wanna be seen to be required to deploy resources to
Right.
private land burns.
Yeah.
Yep.
And, you know, if they lose it and we have a dispatch, we'll go, but, you know, then we're in firefighter mode. We don't
Yeah.
wanna tie our people up sitting around babysitting somebody's burn that shouldn't be burning anyway.
Yeah, so it's, many of the fire chiefs are concerned about the language just due to if a situation ever popped up, they might have liability, or I think they don't necessarily want to be impugned if they don't show up to a certain call for a certain definition, because we don't have a good definition of burn, so that is their concern.
We get it. Our intention was not to have volunteers be there to watch somebody burn leaves in their yard. Our intention was to let them know that if they hear that there's smoke coming from that location, they'll know why.
Yeah, I think they just like to add language to kind of clarify that intent.
Or just take out the deploy resources part and just say notify dispatch, and then make sure dispatch notifies us.
Yeah.
Yeah, some idiot's gonna burn just
I
south
think
of
that's-
town.
Yeah, so just
Very
kind of
efficient.
formalizing the process that we all go through
Yeah.
for that.
We get it.
One last thing, on our last meeting, as part of the county's spillover funds, I don't know what else to call it. We were talking about purchasing for sheriffs and assessors vehicles, the Starlink Minis.
Oh, the LATCF.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I brought that up at my last fire chiefs meeting with him, and reception was pretty positive, especially with Alex's new maps that he brought in. A lot of them are going off of Google Maps, and it's miserable,
Yeah.
apparently. So, as part of a pilot program, I can work with the fire chiefs to determine which vehicles they might send out initially on a response, and those might be good ones to install as part of the pilot program on top of if we go through the effort and get the funding. But I think when we talked about it, we all said, especially my office in general, would be willing to donate funds to that program to get us at least a few initial vehicles and at least initial response vehicles access to the Starlink Minis as well. So we can work with the commission to purchase those things with the sheriff's office and
Yeah, through
if
the
that becomes a thing,
LATCF
we'd
funds.
like in on
We
it,
were gonna do
basically.
that.
So-
Yeah, but we'd need a report that indicates what specific vehicles they're gonna be
Yeah,
put in.
we'll
And then,
compile that for
and
you.
then how you're going to pay the monthly fee. We won't be paying the monthly fee, we'll just be doing the original purchase.
So all of my districts have a line item for communications fees, and it's generally pretty low. Even out of my own office's budget, I'd be willing to just donate that, because really, other than just funding this building itself, there's not so much that we go through. So it was something we talked about at our meeting, that if there needs to be funding that comes out of this, even to absorb those monthly fees, I think my budget can absorb it. If nothing else, was it $50 a month for I think. the
Yeah,
last
for,
meeting, I remember.
yeah, they actually have a $10 a month program for 10 gigabytes. So for people that might very rarely use those and very rarely for communication, we might only be spending $10 a month on some. But on some others, like maybe, Mr. Hughes, you know, he might have to need the unlimited, but I know that this.
With us, because we're primarily response, I mean, EMS goes out a lot more than fire calls. So, yeah, I think we'd probably be able to come in within that, and for something like $10 a month, even if it comes out to 10 vehicles, even just for a pilot program.
Right.
I think that's something that we can easily absorb.
Right, and Starlink's good to work with if you have to cancel or change the plan at any time and stuff. While we're on this, I just might mention to the fellow commissioners, so since we're, if you could get us a number quick, because until the 28th of May, which is coming up soon, we can get the minis at half cost.
Oh.
So instead of costing $600, we can get them for $300. So that's a substantial savings for the county if we can get that done. So, Mr. Hughes, if we could kind of get a number from you, and that way we could get those ordered while I know that right now the sale is set to end on the 28th.
Hey Becky, does that constitute an
Yeah,
emergency
you need
PO?
to.
Yes, and we can pay for ours,
Yep.
if we can just get in with
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I mean, if it saves money, then I'll say go ahead and
Greg,
approve it. I'll get with my fire chiefs to determine which vehicles and the number of devices that we might wanna go in on.
and if you do one other thing, could you write a structure on how you're going to monitor the usage of the device? This is just for protection of the county. We want to make sure that it's just used for county purposes.
It's pretty easy, like on the, so within, say the assessors had their own Starlink account, you can pull it right up and it will show you the amount of data used and the days that it was used on and stuff. So it gives you a pretty, it won't show you exactly what it was used on, but you know that if this person is generally using 2 gigabytes a week and all of a sudden they go through a terabyte of data, there might be some questions.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I'll get that together. I'll work with the commissioners to get you some numbers on how many units we might need, and what vehicles we might wanna put them on.
And the monitoring process.
Yeah, and, I mean, like you said, the monitoring process, I don't know if you have Starlink, but you can go right on there and just.
Yeah.
So it should be easy for us to.
And so the
process
fire
that,
deal,
just to monitor it.
yeah, it would probably be under your purview, you know,
Yeah,
so that you have all the accounts right there and you can
yeah.
monitor
You'll
all the
wanna
accounts.
have a structure in place where.
I don't know necessarily how the budgetary process would work, but I suspect that I may be able to just fund, it all through mine. I have a communications budget, which ironically hasn't been billed in years because the landline, except for the comms office, doesn't work in the building. So we haven't been paying W&M or anyone else for virtually anything. Plus, the building itself here for fire admin uses Starlink already, so it just seems
Right.
easy that, yeah, of course, I would go ahead and monitor all that.
Yes, sir.
So,
All right.
questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Mark? Yes, sir.
At the budget meeting, you guys indicated that I needed to come back this week because we had a discrepancy between what was in there and what we had requested. So do you,
I got the letter, I figure you guys are gonna talk about that when it's budget time.
so anyway, you just told me I needed to come back, and so do you want a report on what I did last month, or? do you want to-
Sure.
Basically, I sent you guys an update on contacts each month or whatever. So last month, the numbers you got, we need to add some to there just because Ranch Days wasn't in there. So we had 600 youth from Southwest New Mexico and Arizona that attended 2 days of Ranch Days. Excellent program for those kids to get out and see what agriculture is about. And multiple stations through that day on all kinds of topics. Another big chunk of last month was spent, I've been coaching the livestock judging team for Kamado FFA. We went to state contest, had a top 10 team, hoped we'd get a piece of the deal, but kids all did good. We put a lot of effort in the spring with those kids, and a good set of kids that want to work and do stuff, so that's always good to work with. And then pretty good chunk of last month too spent, I guess the best way to say it is, well, Audrey was a part of those things, but we met with game commission officials, we met with elected officials, trying to educate them on what really happening on the ground with wolves, so they have a background when people come to them and do those things. And so she mentioned some of the stuff going on too with the videos and some of these things like that to develop the rural perspective of people dealing with wolves. So done quite a bit of work on that this week too. And Buster really brought it to light, and Katie too for that matter. There's not a place you can go in Catherine County, no, I don't care if you're filling up with fuel, you visit with the person crossing the pond, they've had a wolf interaction in the last 3 to 6 months.
Yep.
And this deal is just getting crazy, and there are people that live in town, there are people that aren't involved in ag, and so you start adding all that stuff up, and it's insane, really the amount of contacts and the amount of people that are dealing with the wolf deal. So again, a significant chunk of my time lately has been involved in that too. So that's.
Yep. Mr. Hughes?
Yes, sir, real quick. Welcome back to you.
Thank you.
While you resign. I do it every day.
Glad you reconsidered.
Real quickly, during the budget meeting, I mentioned us hiring a individual for the take care of the problem wolves. He's gonna start Monday. He's been in the wolf program since it started with Wildlife Services. He's retired from them. We picked him up. He's gonna start Monday. He's gonna deal with the problem of wolves. And that being said, we have acquired with Fish and Wildlife Services. We have acquired 2 permits through them. One for dealing with if we needed to haze a wolf, which I don't believe in doing, but if we needed to do it, we have a permit that we can do it. Harass them, haze them, or whatever we have to do to get them moved. Also, we have a permit to trap problem wolves. All this will be working within their guidelines.
Can you haze them past Socorro on into Bernalillo?
Yeah.
Could you do that?
Yeah, there's a lot of areas up there that would love them.
Okay, all right. Good.
Also, they're gonna give us one of their kennels to put one of our trucks if we have to move a wolf. We'll have one of their kennels to do that. Instead of bringing them in with it, we'll be taking them somewhere else.
If they're dead, you don't need a kennel.
Yeah.
Just saying.
It's a step in the right direction. The other thing, like I said, he's been with this wolf program for years. I had posted last week on social media for people to report wolf programs. Probably shouldn't have done that because we've been flooded with wolf reports. We got one last night, wolves chasing elk through a subdivision right outside of Pytown, just adjacent to Pytown. Got one this morning, wolf tracks all in the driveway in Aragon.
So people are calling you now, and that's good. We just need that documentation
So we'll have all that documented.
when they IPRA us again next month.
And also, unrelated program, or unrelated note, we got our forest patrol money or contract last Friday. I honestly didn't think we were gonna get it with all the cuts and everything the government's been doing. We did get that, another $6,000 for overtime and mileage. The employees, we're taking 1 step forward, we're taking 2 steps back. We hire one, we lose 2, it seems like, but we are eventually moving forward with that again. We got one that's gonna be starting the 1st of June. He's gotta go to Santa Fe for 2 weeks, get his certification reinstated, then he'll be on duty. And we also have a guy we hired to do the civil process and transportation on those funds. And he'll be starting in a couple weeks as well. And that's about all I have right now.
Just one other quick question. The gentleman that was so impolitely harassing us, where is he now?
He's in Grant.
Okay,
date of June 1st, so you might be getting us something after that.
Mr. Hughes, how many Starlink mini systems are you gonna need?
What's that?
How many Starlink mini systems are you gonna need? 8? Okay,
Well, I think they could be moved from one vehicle to another.
it's,
Maximum, we would need 8.
right, simple,
Unplug it.
yes, sir.
Vehicle broke down.
Yeah, and like we were stating to him, like if you're only needing to use 5,
Yeah.
it's easy to cancel those 5 and then just re-up them. So you
9
don't,
if Sean, I guess we put one of Sean's vehicle too.
okay,
So it would be 9.
and Bill Nelson,
Let's say 10. just in
Okay.
case, Maximum.
yep,
I don't know if you will need one or not, but if you did,
right,
it would be 10.
okay. All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
First, I apologize for not being at your budget meeting 2 weeks ago.
Yes, sir.
We're making progress, not near as fast as any of us would like, those in my office. We turn over one thing and we find 2 or 3 things that we have to chase to fix them. Our goal is to be clean by the end of the year for this fiscal year. We're pushing it. I'm short 1 person at the moment. I was fully staffed, but I had to let 1 go. And so far, we've not even got a response to our advertisement for the position. So we're making progress. It's just not as near as fast as we would like to be doing it, but we're getting there.
Okay, so have you already posted on the county website for that position?
Yes.
Yeah, it's been flying for about,
Almost 2 weeks.
3 weeks or so.
Do you have applicants yet?
No.
Not 1.
Okay. Maybe we can spread the word a little bit. You know, a lot of people don't visit the county website,
That's
and
true.
so, yeah, so we tell everybody here, spread word of mouth. If you know somebody that might work out in the treasurer's office, that there is a job available.
Make one, and that's what I'm telling.
Okay, Mark,
Yes, sir.
you have anything? Are you needing,
District 1, they've been busy on that graveyard project.
yes, sir.
Which we've had some pretty good results on. And we did hire a new person, Kenneth Bruton, for District 1. And then District 2 just finished Sand Canyon. That was another project that we did, and it turned out really, really good. And we hired another person for him to fill up his slot, and that was Deshaun Dello. And then with Crew District 3, they've been working well off and on the power line deal for the convenience station. They've completed it, the power line is up, and now we're just waiting to hook up the meter loop pole itself, which is already up. It just needs to be hooked up. So, and they've been also up in the Snow Lake area, you know, while the fire's been.
Are we gonna put out a quote to hook up the power line?
We can do that.
Yeah.
I was gonna talk to Becky and Deborah about that to see how I may go about that. So,
Yeah.
and we need to do it pretty soon because the weather's getting hot. And I'm sure I'll get several phone calls from.
You can count on it.
That's about it.
Okay, Mark, are you or any of your managers needing a Starlink Mini? So people could get hold of you no matter where you are, no matter what time
At
it is?
any time of day.
He's all, no, I don't want that.
We're gonna ask you this every month until you say yes.
Well, sometimes it's pretty handy, especially in an emergency. Yeah, we could, each foreman should have that.
And so what would
In
that,
case there was an accident, so that would be 3.
3, okay.
What about you?
Not like
That makes 4.
Mark's too busy to be on the phone.
On the phone all day. So anyway, yeah, 4 should do that.
Okay,
Pressure, you apply pressure.
I'll make sure it's hooked to your phone for you. It's life changing.
It is.
Like,
Like-
I couldn't leave home without it.
Not necessarily in a good way, it's life changing.
I know that,
But then you don't get home and then have 99 voice messages. You take care of it.
Okay,
Mark,
Yes.
setting up the meter pole, is that something that the electric company can't do?
No, no, it has to be a contractor. So we're gonna have to, I've already got one quote, Becky, so I can get with you, and if that's good enough, we'll do it, because it comes under that part of the grant.
Oh, Mark, I don't know if that quote includes putting in a disconnect so you can plug in a generator. I mean, we had another 12-hour power outage.
Yeah, the guy I was talking to, that was included.
Oh, good, okay. Yeah,
where's this going in at?
The Glenwood Convenience Station,
Right, okay. All right,
you know, one other thing that I'd like to bring up, and especially you, Buster, is,
yes, sir.
right there by the shooting range in Kamado, by the convenience station.
Yes, sir.
If you'll drive back there and see all that trash that people are dumping in there, and I don't know what to do with it, and I'm pretty sure it's on county land. Could be on BLM,
Okay,
but it's getting out of hand, and we need to do something about it. And that's all I have.
okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Yes, sir, Matt.
Good morning, everyone.
Sorry if I may interrupt just real quick.
Go ahead.
Sorry if my dog caused any disruption. He's my service animal. He's aging, and so I'm becoming his service human. So that's why I usually keep him here in the office with me.
it's fine.
All right, everyone. I'm Matt with BLM once again. I'd like to introduce Michael Blada. He came with me from the office. He's one of my assistant field managers over renewable resources. So if I am not able to come, you might see him here in my place. Did you all get the email I sent you back on the 12th? Were you able to read it? I know Deborah did. Anyway, I sent a letter. It's a letter that the department's basically cleaning up old MOUs and really stringent on cleaning up stuff, so.
By the way, yes, yes.
Okay. From 2003, and it's a memorandum of understanding with the county and BLM for our planning for our resource management plan amendment. So it's a really old MOU that we just need to cancel and clean up. No big deal about that. 30 days from receipt, then it's finalized. As Deborah mentioned, fire restrictions, we're going to be following suit with the state. Fire restrictions are the level 1 for BLM for sure here pretty quick. So I did a little report on the Horse Mountain search and rescue incident that occurred on April 30th. The state National Guard Black Hawk was deployed, was given permission to land or do anything they needed to get the guy out. Turns out it wasn't that major of an injury, and it was pretty close to a road, but they got him out and got him to care anyway. It turned out pretty good. Speaking of roads again, sorry, Mercy Road, I know Mark's been out there, and Jeff also, and our engineers went out there, looked at it, they got a GPS, the proposed new route. The borrow pit that was proposed for getting material out of is surface BLM, but state mineral. So the county has to apply with the state to get the mineral permit for that, to use the material. And we can help find out how to do that and get it done the correct way. Shouldn't be that big of a deal. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yep. I'll look into it. We'll look into it. Donna, are you going to be working on the flat proposal? No?
I haven't found that one yet, so
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know.
I was told that someone's going to be working on the Federal Lands Access Program grant for funding to help maintain that road or fix that road up. That one, we will require some NEPA to fix the realignment, but our NEPA is a little simpler than the Forest Service. We're going to do a categorical exclusion, which is pretty quick. like to see the design to kind of make sure we don't run into the same issues we did in Socorro. Mr. Nance knows about that, I think. But, yeah, they bladed right through a big arc site, and we found out about it later, you know. So we just wanna avoid that and work with the county and make sure that we're identifying those sites, because it is a really rich in the arc sites, that road right there. We call it the Wild Horse Road. But there is a section on that road that we are gonna be daylighting, cutting trees that in the wintertime shade out that road, and it's really icy in one spot. So we should have a thinning contract this fall.
I believe October 15th.
We're in there and thinning out that portion of the road that gets frozen over. That's all I have. Is there any question?
Adrian, did you have a chance to review the MOU?
Sorry, I didn't CC you.
Yeah, I don't know if Deb sent it on to you or not. I'll send it on to you right now, okay? And maybe next month we can get it signed.
Oh, you don't need to sign it. It's just a notification. It's just a notice.
Okay, we don't need to sign it.
No.
So,
It doesn't need to be renewed or anything.
No.
okay,
No, the RFP was completed in 2010, so it's
and the old,
really old.
and, well, the one you sent to us has been signed.
It was signed by the commission back in
03,
2003, yeah.
yeah.
Okay. All right, fair enough.
Yeah. And I think in that it states any party can cancel the MOU at any time for any reason.
Okay.
Someone had to do it, is all it is.
Do you still want to see it, Adrian? Okay.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Okay, we need a break or go right into action items. Can we make it
Well,
through action? Oh,
never mind, I'll just talk to Becky.
did we have, oh, sorry. Departments, Becky,
I have nothing.
really?
Come on, Becky, that email
You're
was.
sure?
I know
She's
that's,
got a whole bunch later.
I know that's shocking, but
All
maybe
she
next
has
month,
is a day.
next month we'll talk about it. I'm still working on the budget. Just
Okay.
got the
So that email you sent,
interim for
like, don't even go into that right now?
probably not.
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone we're missing? All right. So let's go on. Let's get through these.
Let's take a break.
You need it?
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna take a 5-minute break before we get into action items. Hey, do you know the action items? Are you ready? Mrs. McQueen?
I'm signing.
Okay. All right, first up, A, acceptance of assessor's annual report. Is there any discussion? Seeing as there is none, is there a motion?
A motion.
I will second.
It's been motioned and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Approval of item B, approval of contract amendment 1 with Stantec for Mingus Lane, Colonia 6107-CIF design. Is there any discussion?
Boy, I think we discussed it.
Okay, is there a motion?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it. It's been motioned and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item C, approval of task order 3 FY 2024 NMDOT LGRF Engineering Support Services. Is there any discussion? Seeing as there is none, is there a motion?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
It's been motioned and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item D, approval of contract amendment with Stantec for on-call engineering contract per RFP 2023-11-012. Is there any discussion?
No,
Seeing as there is none, is there a motion?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
It's been motioned and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item E, consideration resolution 55-2025 authorizing a Colonias infrastructure loan and grant. Is there any this is for agreements for improvement to Beaverhead Road and approval of accompanying documentation.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
Mr. Commissioner, this is the one where last meeting we did have conversation about whether or not the community had benefited was a Colonias, because it stated to be benefiting the community of Reserve, which is the Colonias. Council of Governments has confirmed that is correct, even though we all thought that doesn't sound right, but they confirmed that is correct under the federal law and the designation. So there you go.
I saw it again in there and I thought, are you kidding me?
Yeah, me too, but so that is,
Okay, so we're,
the way,
so
under
it's
the way
good
it's
to go.
defined is correct.
Okay, all right. Is there any further discussion? Seeing as there is none, is there a motion?
A motion.
I'll second.
It's been motioned, seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Item F, consideration resolution 58-2025 budget adjustment number 8 for fiscal year 24 to 2025. Same thing?
It's the same.
Is there-
This is the one where I'm basically trying to bring all the negative back into positive before the end of the fiscal year. So that's what I'm working on now.
Okay, but just, everything's minor, nothing
It's standard.
major? Okay,
Just pushing the same numbers back and forth.
Yes.
okay.
Okay,
If there's no further discussion, is there a motion?
All motion.
I'll second.
It's been motioned, seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Consideration of, item G, consideration of resolution 59-2025, urging Congress to reauthorize and fully fund the Secure Rural Schools program. Is there any discussion needed?
No, we need to,
So, Deb, is the wording up to date on, that the reconciliation package includes the 24-25 distribution?
I'm not sure because this letter came out probably before we got notified of it moving along and stalling where it stopped. So, we may need to look at, the wording a little closer to make sure it's
I
correct.
hate to do it because,
Adrian, is there any way that we can approve it and with the amendment that we update that wording for
Absolutely.
that consideration?
You could say approved contingent upon updating properly.
yeah, because we don't know if it needs to include support of Bill 1393, I think it is. So, yeah, Lily and I probably need to do a little more work on that and make sure the resolution is up to speed on the latest information.
Okay. So we would just motion to approve this resolution with,
Contingent upon
Updated
updated
language.
language. So
okay. So would you like to make that
Yeah,
motion?
I'll make a motion, we approve 59-2025 contingent on the ability to update language.
I'll second that.
It's been motioned and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Item H, consideration of photojournalist service agreement with J. Eschenberg for wolf coverage. Is there any discussion? What is,
Do you think, do you wanna do that? Have you looked into that?
No.
I don't think we need that, from what I've researched on it.
so,
And
so,
I think this item was agendized prior to, the Wolf Among Us and all of that stuff coming
Yeah.
out, so.
Because I think that we've already got a lot of that covered and that's gonna cost, I don't think we need it,
right,
so.
okay. So do we just,
there's no action.
no action taken? Okay. Item I, consideration of treasurer's proposal for Tyler triadic conversion. Let me get my paper.
Contingency issue.
Is that this, Rick?
Yes.
Okay.
Where is it?
To start off with, I had no horse in this race to make a decision based on.
It's this one.
And I get to account for the purse, but you guys
Yes.
control it. Right now with the two competing programs, fiscally, we've got to reduce our expenditures. We're stupid if we keep paying for two of them for everything. In my opinion, both programs can do the tasks that we need to do. There are some significant differences within working with them though. Teresa from Tyler was here for 5 days, from 4/21 to 4/25. When she left, we thought everything looked good in Tyler as a program. That 5 days cost us $12,000. Because she had just spent the week with us, she tells us, if you have a question, you have a problem, you call us, you're our priority. She left on the 25th. On Friday, on the 28th, Monday morning, we made a phone call, one of my people, and today's the 20th of May, and we've still not got responses to the questions.
A quick question there, did you make multiple follow-up
We're
calls?
not getting anything from them. There's other issues that are going on right now with Tyler, and part of what she did while she was here, she sets you up in the Tyler community so that you can go out to other users and say, this is the problem I'm having, does anybody know how to fix it? Because they don't. They're one of the big boys in this industry. With the program that we're using, they're in 4 states. Colorado, Utah, Arizona, and New Mexico, with 1 entity in Virginia. They've reduced their support staff to 4 people for all 4 states. Which, like when Teresa was here, that reduces it to 3 because she's not there to answer phones. That's the problem we're having. We're getting no response from them for anything. And then also, the system that we've got, they're not using it anymore. They're not selling it, they're not installing it in any more offices or anywhere. They're just basically putting it on the shelf and say, what we've got is what we're gonna get.
I thought within the contract that the system is supposed to be updated to the latest.
They'll take care of the people
software.
they've got, but they will not go out and find new clientele to install the software for. So whoever's on it now is all there is that's going to get it.
Why?
I don't have that answer.
But they will update it.
They'll take care of us, but they won't go out for new clientele.
Okay, real quick, Lily?
They have Lincoln County to do, they just finished up Union County,
Yeah,
and they're not gonna sell this now, because they're putting it on hold to ramp up their support system, and then when they get that support system ramped back up, then they'll go back to selling the product. And we are getting an update, I believe in July, of the 25.1 point something or another, that we will be getting, but we are on the Evergreen program, and they still are doing stuff and will continue to do it.
And the last problem I saw in their Tyler community is the bank rec system wasn't working. And there's 4 or 5 different entities throughout the customers. They're providing answers, well, we tried this to make ours work.
right.
Tyler hasn't stepped up, there's no comment from Tyler anywhere in those.
Right.
As she says, I mean, right now, the current version of Tyler is 2025 dot something. We're on 2023 dot something. The explanation for that when Teresa was here was there were so many changes to the law in Colorado. They put all their resources on Colorado, and the rest of us, when they catch up to us, they'll get it for us. So, I mean, service is very poor with Tyler. For Triadic, I went to Denver for 2 days, on 17th and 18th in April. Irma was here last week for the day. Total cost for all of that was $415, and that was basically just to cover the travel to get to Denver for 2 days. With Tyler, any training, whether they come here or we do it online or on their system, we pay for it. With Tyler, if they come here, right, the last one we got for nothing, and we probably get a few more that way, but the regular fee for coming here is $1,160 a day. So for a week, we're looking at less than 6,000 versus 12,000 for Tyler. Every time we have a question and we make a phone call, Triadic answers the phone. They're getting to the point that when we call and talk to them, the first thing they ask is your name. They don't even ask where we're from anymore. We've talked to them enough, they just know who to send it to get the problems taken care of. Yesterday I called 4 different times. Phone was answered all 4 times. 2 of the calls, they logged into my computer to walk me through and step by step in the process I needed to do. So the 3rd one, they showed me how to go in to fix the problem. I can do it from here, but you gotta know how to do it. They showed me how to get to where it needs to be done. The 4th one, there was a problem in February's reporting to the state. There was no report sent. The system is only supposed to be run once, and you should never have to go in again. I cannot go backwards to rerun it from here. When I told them what it was, they knew exactly how to fix it. And when we go in, we'll change your date. So they put my system back to February 28th. Now you can go run your reports, do what you've got to do and fix it. When you're done, log out. When you log back in, it'll update you to the current date. But all that, a few minutes on the phone, we get answers, we get help. I've also got them working on some customizing for the software. The decisions were made to handwrite all treasurer's checks. Both systems will do it, but the system is built so that you can type in who you're writing a check to, the amount, the ledger codes and everything. Push the button and it prints out the check for you. All it needs is signatures. Again, the decision was to do that by hand, but to match our checks, they have to be customized within the software. With Triadic, that's included in our prices. With Tyler, we have to pay extra to make the software conform to our forms. Several other decisions like that do not make sense to us were made, that we want to do this by hand rather than let the machine do the work that it already knows the data, it already knows the answers, but we'll do it by hand. There are multiple modules within both systems, but in the Triadic system, they all talk together. We pay for almost all of them. We've got them right now. We've been paying for them. There are several that, whichever way we go, we could reduce our expenditure by discontinuing pieces of some of them. There are others that we're using, when we started asking questions, their answer was, well, you have that ability, but the decision was made not to use it. So we're working, pushing that way to make the machine do its job rather than us going backwards and doing it by hand. The big one right there is the monthly distributions. The main report that comes out, the way I was showed to do it, you go down through that report, pulling numbers out of it, plug it into multiple Excel spreadsheets. But when you plug it into that Excel spreadsheet, you plug in this number and this number, add them up, put it in the next line down. Even the spreadsheets were not set up to be automatic. The systems will create those same reports when you push the button if you log or map your GL codes back to the report. So instead of my having spent most of last week getting all those reports done and the checks out, it could be a 10-minute job. And again, if we go with Triadic, all those fixes are included. To get those fixes and mapping for Tyler, they wanna charge us more money. So, next, last for the Triadic, it's a New Mexico company that only works in New Mexico. So when New Mexico law changes, everybody gets the updates all at once. Many of the problems we're having are because of two main issues. Our people only know what their predecessors knew about the programs. Those that were here before, or have been here longer, are treated as the knowledgeable experts. And most have not even asked the question, why, when something doesn't work. When they're told you can't do something, or the other is those who are knowledgeable, experts, didn't like something or don't want to do something, so they didn't. You've been told that the conversion to Tyler is almost complete, and it is not. In my department, they supposedly went live on February 7th. And according to Tyler, that is to date. It did not happen when one of the times Joyce was in my office. She told me that she didn't like it and didn't want it and didn't do it. After they left from that point, I mean, they paid lip service, but there was really nothing done in the system. The finance department has not made the change to go there. With Tyler, it's a separate module that has to be installed for them that does not necessarily talk back and forth to the treasurer's side. The decision for which program to select is basically down to three things, in my opinion: functionality, cost, and support. For the functionality, both programs can be made to do everything that needs to be done. Triadic includes customization in the price. Tyler charges for every customization. As to cost, you guys have thrown a lot of money at these programs. Both of them. At this point, the past costs are already passed, and some costs can't be undone. We can't change those. What you need to decide is which program will be the most cost-effective going forward. The cost of either of these programs is not cheap. Quoted prices need to be compared, but the unquoted base price are the little extras and additions that must also be considered. I can only speak to the effects and costs of my department. The conversion has had many errors that came through with the data. In my office, the state law requires 10 years of history. Tyler provided me a report while Teresa was here. They know of at least 1,100 files, documents, properties, that there are errors. That's just that there's an error. They don't know whether it's out of the 10 years, it's got 1 year or 8 years. They just know it's wrong. See, we have to go through every single account to verify, is the data from Triadic in Tyler? And we know 1,100 are wrong, but we have to go to the others and verify them as well, because we don't know whether they are or not. Another issue with the conversion, there's approximately 14,000 documents in Triadic. Tyler splits those out. So where you have property, you got residential, non-residential, and livestock on your bill, you'll now receive 3 bills. So instead of dealing with 14,000 accounts, we could be up to 30,000 now. And again, every error we find, we have to go into the accounts, manually make the corrections. So if your file has 2 years worth of data, we have to go back in line by line the other 8 years and move it from information from Triadic to Tyler to get it to be current. My estimation, and I believe I'm being very conservative, is gonna cost us $20,000 to $30,000 just to balance those accounts and verify our data. So, and that may require additional personnel over what I've already got.
Some
And
temps.
Tyler,
Some temps.
yes,
Okay.
and Tyler basically says, you have to do that manually, we can't help you. So, the major factor in my opinion, is the support that we get from them. I've already told you how Tyler answers the phone versus Triadic. Every call for Triadic is answered. The people that come in to pay their bills, they don't care what our problem is, they're pissed at us if we can't take their money because our computer doesn't work. And we're having that problem with Tyler. In the day, it started on Thursday, the 24th of April, there was a problem with Tyler. Before it was done, every office was down. Assessors, clerks, treasurer, everybody was dead in the water. Tyler had made some change, a little small change in their software, and Abba's firewalls stopped everybody. It took them 2 days to fix it. The following Monday, I had the same problem again and had to call again because I was having the same errors. And it took them about 6 hours to fix it. I mean, we're making people mad if that happens. You look at the page with the red stripe on it.
That's a painful page.
It is. We've got 5 years of data for both companies. 2 of the years, 21 and 25, there are anomalies in there that make comparison useless. But picking out 22, 23, and 24, we spent, well, the contract price for Tyler was $495,000. The actual cost that we paid for over those 3 years was $565,000. Those same 3 years for Triadic, we spent $224,000. Difference is $341,000 in 3 years. Comparisons of what the next 5 years, if we do every entity for the county on one or the other, quoted price for Tyler is $110,000. Quoted price for Triadic is $132,000. The $12,000 difference, or $22,000 difference, in my opinion, we're getting our money's worth because we get an answer to our problems, where we're not getting any response from Tyler. Again, going into this, I'd never used either program, and neither had the people on my staff, one of which was the CFO for the prison systems for the state. So we've got the background to know what we're looking at. We're all of the opinion that Triadic, for our office, is the better option than to try and make the conversion and spend more money to make the conversion to go to Tyler. And the end of the year is in about 45 days. We need to make this decision now so we stop throwing money after a product that's not going to serve our needs. And I can't speak for Lily's office. I can't speak for Sherry's office. Rumors are that you don't like it very much either.
It was forced down our throats, we didn't have a choice.
Okay. And I know the finance office, they don't want to go. But just dollars and the customer service, whether we want to go or not, that's your decision. But based on what we're seeing, my recommendation is we stay with Triadic and cut our losses with Tyler.
Okay.
Questions?
No, I don't have any questions. I appreciate the time that you put into putting the data there, and you know, some of these were issues that have been brought up, and so you're reaffirming those issues.
You said you need that answer now.
Well, the contracts are renewing, end of the fiscal year's the end of next month. If we continue past that, we're paying for 2 of them, or we gotta do something.
Yeah, we need to determine what it'll cost the other departments to go back to Triadic. And not just in financial terms, but in efficiency terms.
Finance has not made any change, it's 0 cost.
They're still on.
If Sherry were to go back, I know they used to be on Triadic, they went to something else, I don't know what it was, for a few years, they've been on Tyler for a few years. All of their data from when they were on Triadic is still on our backups on the machine. So they'd only have to go with stuff in the middle, but they also have different requirements than us. They don't, as far as I know, they don't have to have 10 years of data that we do. For Lily, I know, from what I'm told, she likes the program. She can stay on the program. They'll write a conversion. The data that comes from Lily and Tyler will come to my office via Triadic. They'll write the conversion. We have to pay for it, and it's $150 an hour. My guess is $3,000.
Triadic could write the conversion?
Yes. My guess is $3,000. Their average is 16 hours, which is about, what, $2,400 to do the whole thing. Labor-wise, cost-wise, I believe Triadic is going to be a better program and product for what we need to do. And at this point, almost everybody knows how to use it. There's not extra training to go for the finance department. Because again, with Tyler, it's a totally different module that's not connected to anybody else. Triadic, they all are capable of talking. So.
Can I say something here? And correct me if I'm wrong, the base price that you quoted was $110 for Tyler and then $132 for Triadic. That Triadic includes your tech help and everything else. For the Tyler $110,000, you can already see every trip that comes up here, you're paying $12,000. So you have to take that into consideration that you will be paying that. So it would probably eventually go over the 132 probably. And Triadic does have a bridge. They're already bridging other counties from Triadic to Tyler.
I know one of our major concerns that we analyzed, what was it, 6 months ago, is the longevity of Triadic. It's true better customer service. They do just support New Mexico, and they're being overwhelmed by other software programs. And it's concerning that if we go back to Triadic, they may be gone in 4 years. We don't know.
I can just speak what they've told me. They don't have any plans on going anywhere themselves.
Well, and that's the right thing for them to say.
Right.
But
And they've actually, and just the system that we have right now that we're working off is their older system. They've actually now gone web-based, and so if we were to continue with it, we would be pushed over to the web-based system, which is better. So I do agree with Rick. We're being nickel and dimed.
Yeah.
Out of that 132, if Lily were to stay with Tyler, there's $40,000 would be cut out of that with her not converting.
Right.
just hate to go through this again in 4 years. I mean, we can't ignore the market conditions and what's happening to Triadic. I can't make a decision right now. There's a lot of discussion that I think we need to have.
And I agree. It's just that the longer we wait, the more it's gonna cost us.
Yep. Lily?
Well, the reason they're having those missing accounts is because when the treasurer's office didn't convert right after the assessor's office, we corrected those UPCs. I know you've heard this before. That's why they're having the trouble with the history. The treasurer's office doesn't have to have 10 years of history. They have to have history from 1921. So, it used to be in books. I think we can do a printout. That's what I was told, in the stuff. I only have to have 10 years. I'm good. I went through every single account, and I had a couple of part-time people that helped, and we redid all of those UPCs, which is a lot more involved than amounts and payments, basically, is what I'm saying. I personally have not had any issues with support from Tyler. I did have issues with Triadic for customization. We've been through all of this before. But the part of the problem they're having with the conversion was because we didn't follow through on our timelines. And I changed that. And if Rick stays with Triadic, I just want him to understand he's not going to get Triadic data. He's getting Tyler data. So the accounts are going to be what the accounts are. That's set in our office. It's not going to, regardless of whether he stays with Triadic or not, he's still going to have the accounts that come from us with Tyler.
Right.
I'm not going back.
Right.
My stuff is done. We haven't been on Triadic. I would have to start completely over with that. So I'm just saying that I don't think they understand they're not going to get Triadic data anymore. It is Tyler data.
Lily, I do need to correct you on something. The treasurer's office does have to have 10 years of history, and that it is law, and there is a county that, when they switched over, they did not, they lost a 10 years history, and they got dinged for 10 years by the auditor, and you do have to have 10 years history.
Well, you don't have to have 10 years, Becky. You have to have from the beginning of the county. I'm not saying what what I'm trying to say is your 10-year history you have in your system or whatever is one thing. But the treasurer's office has to maintain their history forever. Just like the clerk's office, they don't have 10 years. They have since it became a county.
Could I recommend?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and I appreciate the debate on that, but I don't think the commission is concerned about hiring temps to look at potentially 30,000 accounts and correct them. I think for me anyway, the biggest concern is the lack of service. And I'm not sure how you deal with that. When Lily, you can pick up the phone and they will be back to you in 24 hours?
Usually they answer me right there, and they have a system, a Bomgar system.
We need to have Lily make the calls for you,
But
and then you get on the phone.
This piece and this piece and this piece, and they're all spread out across Tyler. They're not going to the same places.
Yeah,
The
that's
things
the
we've got go over here, and we're not getting the service from them.
Right, the technical
And
help
they,
that
she
Lily
may
gets
be
for her
getting very
program
good service.
is not the same technical people that Rick will get for his program. It's two separate people.
Okay.
I forwarded you those emails from Tyler.
Yeah.
So.
And I must admit, we have been our own worst enemy. The implementation of this has destroyed us. Never before have I ever seen it done the way it's been done here. It's usually, this is our date, and everybody, you work your butt off to get to that date, and on that date, you convert and you're done. This one's been stretched out over years.
Yes, it has.
And it's causing us, we're causing our own problems by doing this.
All right, Well, hey, thank you. We appreciate the information, and I would imagine that this is going to be something that will be on the agenda next month, for sure, after some more,
And I
again,
believe we need to do a lot of homework
Yep.
between now and then.
On the agenda next.
Okay, so right there, there's no action needing to be taken. Okay. Item J, approval of Negrito Creek Bridge bypass. Is there any discussion on this?
Oh, hang on, I think that's, oh, let me,
You and your friend Hayden.
yeah. I'm sorry, I should have known this was next, and I would have been prepared. Okay. On the Negrito Bridge, the bypass side, I explained to the Forest Service, and Mark, a lot of this goes to you, we discussed you a fair amount. We're talking over $100,000 potential loss in revenue to businesses in the county, and that doesn't include the issues that we're gonna have with recreation hunters.
Well, even like right now, just for instance, like I have some of Nelson's cows in my corral. It's gonna take them 3 hours one way to come and pick them up and drive them all the way back around.
Yeah. So, spoke with Camille House, Harley, also, and Daisy. I don't remember Daisy's last name. The bottom line is the Forest Service cannot put in a simple bypass 30 yards upstream or downstream from the bridge. They would need to do a NEPA on it. I challenged them about the NEPA. I said certainly it was done when they did the bridge. Anyway, it all boils back down to our favorite folks, Fish and Wildlife. Fish and Wildlife would have to approve any bypass right there at the bridge. And it'll be 2026 before Fish and Wildlife will even look at it.
So I've come up with
So
a solution because what's gonna happen is during hunting season, the hunters and stuff on their side-by-sides and everything else are make their own bypass. And they won't require NEPA or anything, and I
Right.
mean,
Right.
they're
Yeah.
gonna tear up more ground.
It's what will end up happening, no doubt. Harley was in a position where he knew he wouldn't be able to get the approvals for the bypass in time. So he looked at Forest Road 95 Apache Creek. They're telling me that there's a blade, that they're going to maintain that road. And if you're in a four-wheel drive, it'll take 15 minutes longer. If you're in a pickup and a trailer, it'll take half an hour longer. So they promised that the blade would be in place. They've already put in culvert pipes in there. They're extending the turnaround areas. This went on for 45 minutes in the discussion, how Apache Creek turnoff is only gonna be a half hour longer if you have a trailer. So we tested it. We had somebody take that bypass hauling horses. It took them an hour and a half longer.
Yeah.
The road certainly needs a lot of blade work.
You're not gonna get a pot in there. No way.
And also, that's the most dangerous road that I've ever seen. And you put a bunch of traffic on that road and you're gonna have.
We're gonna have wrecks.
I came through here just last week through that road. It's Forest Road 94 is what
Yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, man, that's horrible. You put people on that road, you're gonna have.
I think we still have to push them to do.
Well, apparently the Forest Service, as of today, they've got the blade on the road right now. Now, in the meeting, they told me that it had already been bladed and culvert pipes were put in where the washouts were.
The pipes are put in, but the road was so rough, it's 5 miles an hour going up to the top of the hill.
Okay.
You should
And
drive it.
very
Yeah, The bottom line is, it's our only, well, the other options are Collins Park Road, which would add a couple hours. And of
Through
course,
Bursum, through that,
Well, Burson, you know, is a county road.
well,
And I see where they're going with this, and nobody's gonna, wanna go through Forest Road 94 because it's steep. You're not gonna get no cattle pot over there.
yeah.
Just no way, because you got two real sharp turns at the canyon, and a pot will not go up that hill, I know.
and it's not gonna go through White Canyon either.
Harley
Is it?
claimed that a pot
Yeah,
has
Okay.
been on that road, and it was Nelson Shirley.
but who has the responsibility of maintaining that road so
The-
often if they?
The Forest Service. And they heard me loud and clear. I told them the county would put in a couple of culvert pipes, would have a bypass in there in 2 days. And that's when they said legally it just cannot be done. That we would be in violation of the law if we did that. And they are telling me 94 will have a blade on it every day for,
I don't believe the bridge is gonna be fixed by September.
I don't either.
I believe that, just look at the road and everything, it'll be another, I bet you this time next year that road is not open.
Well,
Like,
that's trying to, that's right. It's not.
well, now they did tell me that the contractor has financial penalties if he's not done by the end of September.
I heard that.
So they're motivated to be done by the, and I'm not taking the Forest Service side on this, I'm just saying what they told me. So end of September, financial penalties if the bridge isn't done.
Right now.
They
They've
won't,
already blown it.
the county can't put in culvert pipes. The
I can-
best
it's shut right
option
in my
is Forest Road 94.
Well, hey, does that mean more maintenance on Bursum Road for the county?
No,
Of course not, because they're saying that the bypass route is Forest Road 94, but nobody's gonna use that road, can use Bursum Road.
well, Bursum Road is also an option, but you're not gonna get a horse trailer on Bursum Road. You're not gonna get a 40-foot trailer up and down that road.
Not on 94 on Bursum Road, yes.
You think on Bursum Road they could?
And I think like they, and like poor, I feel for who's the guy that has the N-bar? I feel sorry for him, Preston
Yeah,
Bates. I feel
Preston.
sorry for him. Because this is his livelihood now and all them, he takes those, I don't even know how they drive up the 141 either.
Well, so what we need to do is make sure that we continue to put pressure on the Forest Service to get 94 maintained continually, because that is the option that we have. Along with Muggy Ohm. Whoever can use Muggy Ohm.
Have you ever
they
went
can
through
use
there?
it. Oh, many times. Yeah, in a side-by-side though.
Yeah. No, I mean, this is,
Take a trailer through that.
I mean, all they would have to do, I mean, maybe we put pressure on Fish and Wildlife. I don't know. I just think that we don't just say, okay, have at it, because it's a problem.
I'm all about continuing the pressure, but it's where we have.
Stupid question. Has the Forest Service committed to write the biological assessment and submit it to Fish and Wildlife?
Not that I know
I
of.
didn't ask them. I don't know.
I think that's a key question. If they're saying Fish and Wildlife is the holdup, if the Forest Service prepares a biological assessment and submits it to Fish and Wildlife has to consider that biological assessment and say yea or nay.
How long do they have to consider it?
Now that I couldn't tell you, I've been out of the service for too long, but there is a requirement that if they get a biological assessment, that they have to do some consideration of what the finding was. And if they don't deny it, I believe it's an automatic yes. In other words, if you submit an assessment and they don't say, we disagree, then it's an agreement. And based on the biological assessment, the cultural resource clearance, which the Forest Service can do in-house, of where you want the bypass, and a discussion with Corps of Engineers, because you're mucking around in one of their creeks, Those are the three entities outside of the Forest Service that they have to contact. Now, if the Forest Service is telling you they can't do the NEPA because it's not on this year's schedule, then that's where you put the pressure on them. You say, hey,
Well,
put it on your schedule.
and they got a CE that they, but
They can't do a CADX if there's a finding of may affect on the biological assessment. I would be surprised if there were a finding of may affect, but
when they put the bridge in, would there not have been a NEPA requirement 30 yards up and downstream?
no, not 30 yards. But there would have been a NEPA requirement, and you need to FOIA them for the NEPA for the bridge and see what they have. NEPA biological assessment, cultural resource clearance. If they had a cultural resource clearance that covered above and below the bridge, then they don't need to do that again. That doesn't change. You either had dead Indians or you didn't.
Yeah. I've FOIA'd the feds before.
I know, and I have too. I FOIA on a regular basis.
Yeah. I'll ask him about the biological assessment.
Yeah, ask if they're committed to doing one. If they're committed to doing one and they submit Fish and Wildlife, then you can put pressure on Fish and Wildlife to review it.
Fish and Wildlife likes us. They get along with us well.
I'm sure they do.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think they'd jump right on that for us, don't you?
So
Well,
what-
Buster requested something.
So with this, yeah, yeah, I can use threats. No, never mind.
You shoot
I
another
didn't
one.
say that. That wasn't on record. Hey,
I didn't dare.
okay, approval in Negrito Creek. So we just,
There's,
no action
Yeah.
right now. Okay, no action. Item K, approval of PHI, by CARES Air Ambulance Agreement, Catherine County residents. Is there any discussion? Terms the same?
Mr. Chairman, I negotiated with PHI on Monday to get, the terms are a little better for us as far as
Awesome.
bringing in with constitutional requirements that we need to have. So other than that, the costs, I believe, are fairly similar, and it does the same protection.
Well, we've actually had some residents that have been able to utilize the service, and it has been
It's been good.
life-saving for those people.
I can't believe socialized medicine is this inexpensive. and that's what it is. We're paying socialized insurance, but it is worth it.
There's a lot of people, like, I get a lot of compliments. There's a lot of people
Yeah.
that have used it and happy, and
Yeah,
I think that was a good thing.
I mean, as much as I do not believe the government should pay for people's insurance, this is something that I.
Because
It's a
of where
good
we
deal.
are.
You
and
can't say no.
Yeah, because of where we are in the deal to medical service.
Yeah.
If there's no further discussion, is there a motion?
I will make a motion.
Second.
It's been motioned second that we approve this. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right.
Item L, direction staff to publish the title and general summary of an ordinance prohibiting the trespass of canines on private property. Is there any discussion?
I was gonna say, Mr. Chairman, this is an item that was brought up with Audrey and the sheriff. And basically what it does is it would use the county's police power to prohibit animals from canines, which also includes wolves, from trespassing on private property. Already canines, under law and under our animal control ordinance are prohibited from running at large, so it kind of just falls in with that and basically keeps it where if a canine goes onto someone's private property, they can be charged by the sheriff's office. Or in a situation, for instance, if there's let's say there's a den of canines on your private property, and you inform the owner that they need to be out of there, and they don't do it, then it's a continual violation. So it's something that the sheriff said that he would have liked this. He would like this tool in his toolbox, so he might want to speak on it, or Audrey might. But right now, pursuant to law, the action to be taken is to publish this ordinance and then come back for a public hearing, have the discussion, and decide whether or not you want to adopt it, change it, and adopt it, or not adopt it.
Yep. Is there any further discussion? If there's no further discussion, is there a motion?
I'll make a motion that we approve
I'll second.
this ordinance.
It's been motioned and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Direction to staff. Item M, direction staff to publish the, I think that should be title and general summary of an animal control ordinance revised. And that was just the changes that we had went over.
I wasn't here for that, Mr. Chairman, so we might want to have that discussion really quickly.
Okay.
You all had previously adopted an animal control ordinance, and I will say that basically the animal control ordinance does what's required to enforce criminal penalties. Our local judges in the 7th Judicial District Court, especially regarding dangerous dogs, have taken the position, and they very well might be right, but that the state law regarding dangerous dogs doesn't give the sheriff's office the authority to criminally charge them. That doesn't mean you still can't go through the process to destroy those dogs and get rid of them, but so this ordinance is needed to do that. The other things that this ordinance does is really just reflect what is already in state law or required that we have in our ordinances. So I'd leave it up for the commission if you'd like to discuss it further. My personal opinion is that it either reflects state law or it gives the tools to the sheriff's office that we need. So I don't think that a change is needed, but if it is, I'm happy to have the discussion with you now, and you decide whether or not you want to move forward or have that.
So one of our issues with it is it was mandating that every dog owner in Catron County must get a rabies shot.
And that is already the law. Yeah, that is the state law, and this again just allows the sheriff, because it is, as we all know, it's very dangerous to have an animal that is not vaccinated. So the sheriff can then enforce that.
So whether we have this ordinance in place or not, it is the law that they must have a rabies shot?
Absolutely, that is the state law.
Some people in Catron County are just rebels.
Yes, yeah, I'm afraid I'm one of them.
Yep.
It's all fun and games so you get rabies.
Is there any further discussion?
And the sheriff, you would like this ordinance in place?
State law in place either way.
Yep.
What if wolves are coming on property and they have rabies and haven't been vaccinated?
That's a great question.
I mean, they're dogs.
Canine, not unvaccinated dogs.
They vaccinate them though, I mentioned they do.
Yeah, the collared
Well,
ones.
the colored ones, yeah.
So again, it's already, again, I don't think any action is necessary. It's already state law. The only thing that this does is allow the sheriff, if he finds himself the need to criminally prosecute those state laws rather than trying to get some sort of civil injunction or something, out of something strange.
But do we want to criminally prosecute those people that don't give their animals rabies shots?
I think the sheriff needs to have that ability. If there's a whole, but that's
If there's somebody that has a rabid dog that isn't doing something about it,
They need shot.
then it gives him the option to do so. But I don't think the sheriff's office, they aren't going to go by residents.
they're not going to go check your
ask for
rabies
their
shots.
rabies
Yeah.
shots.
For rabies shot record.
At least I don't think so, right?
I hope
Mr.
not,
Hughes?
right?
But I think if the sheriff's office, if there's an issue and they have to go and address a dangerous dog, I think, they also should have the ability to say, all right, you're charged with having a dangerous dog, which would need to be done under this ordinance, because you can't criminally do it under the state law,
Right.
and charge also with, failing to follow state law as far as rabies and that stuff goes as well.
So Keith can ask Fish and Wildlife for the record of all their wolves or rabies shots, and if whatever doesn't, we just ticket them.
So if someone has a dangerous dog without this ordinance, you can't do anything about it?
No, he can do something about it. They can go and take the dog, they can destroy the dog. However, they may need at times to enforce, as law enforcement, to criminally prosecute somebody for that. We've seen that come up in different cases. Otherwise, a lot of times you have no deterrence, and the sheriff's office works on deterrence.
But he can do that under state law?
No, he cannot. Our judges have said that the only thing you can do is take the dog and destroy the dog and go through that process. You can't criminally prosecute them. So actually, our judges have requested that this ordinance also, this type of ordinance be done at a local level so that the sheriff's office can implement, you know, some degree of deterrence or punishment if necessary, other than just taking the dog.
I don't like ordinances that just duplicate state law. But if the sheriff says he needs it to criminally prosecute.
There may be times when.
Adrian, is this the one that's already in ordinance?
Yes.
Fall back on it.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's nothing that, I can't stand ordinances that duplicate state law. The difference is, when they wrote the darn state law, they didn't put criminal enforcement measures into it. So we are basically, it's not duplicating state law, this is filling in the blanks that the legislature didn't fill in. Now, I would say, if next year the legislature, if they get their act together and they make this where you can enforce it, then heck, repeal the ordinance and only do it under state law. But until then, I think, I personally think that the sheriff needs this.
Yeah, we need our sheriff's office.
So I would suggest that no action is necessary.
Yep, Mrs. Boyer?
I do know that here, the sheriff has confiscated dogs and the person has been criminally prosecuted because I've had them on probation. They took their dog away, they were criminally prosecuted, they also had to pay restitution. And that happened to the same owner twice. The first time they did not take the dog, but the third time they did, the dog was destroyed.
Right, and this helps out with those problems.
And so the issue there is,
Problem people.
that may have been done previously, because under the state law. However, the judges in our district are now saying, the district court judges are now dismissing those cases and saying, the state law doesn't allow for criminal prosecution. Now, I'm not even sure I agree with that, but but they're the judges.
Right. Okay, so we just need to, no action taken, and the ordinance stays in place.
Correct.
Okay. Okay, no action? All right, items 10 and 11 together, approval of checks and registers and approval of payroll. Is there any discussion? Seeing as there is none, is there a motion?
I'll motion.
I'll second.
It's been motioned and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Well, okay, motion and roll call vote to recess regular session and go into executive session. And that pursuant to New Mexico State Statute, section 10-15-1, only the following matters will be discussed in closed session. Is there a motion?
Yeah, I'll motion.
I'll second.
It's been motioned and seconded. All, District, Buster Green, aye.
District 2,
Audrey McLean, aye.
District 3.
Hayden Forward, aye.
Thank you. Yeah. All right. Motion and vote to reconvene regular session.
I'll motion.
I'll second it. It's been motioned and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion and roll call vote. The matters discussed in closed session were limited to those specified in motion for closure, and that no final action was taken as per New Mexico statute section 10-15-1.
Roll call vote. District 1,
Buster Green, no action taken.
District 2,
Audrey McLean, no action taken.
District 3.
Hayden Forward, no action taken.
Okay, continuing on with action items. A, consideration of local DWI grant agreement for the county DWI program. Is there any discussion? I think it,
I'm
Should
ready
be-
to make a motion, if you like.
yes, there's no,
I'm motion we approve, signing the grant agreement.
I'll second it. Is there, it's been motioned and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Discussion regarding building maintenance position and vehicle maintenance position. Open the floor for discussion. Deb, considering that Jerry stepped away, what are your feelings?
So my feeling is that the county has enough work with the county-owned facilities between the community centers, the senior centers in the other buildings that we would benefit from having county staff provide building maintenance services.
And would that staff be able to be on a part-time basis or a?
That,
Or
I
a-
think, would be, we'd probably look at.
Because right now Jerry's was at a, how was his position? It was a contract position,
Yeah,
right?
and he was
And he was
hourly
paid per
as
hourly.
needed, though, and he did, you know, it varied, it really depended on what projects were going on.
The way I've been describing it to the people that are interested in Glenwood is that 1 week they may have 20 hours, then they may not have anything for the next 3 weeks. We just don't know.
Right.
So it would be a 1099 position.
I think the discussion was that you want to make it a county employee though.
Well, county employee for the vehicle maintenance position.
Okay, so county,
So we need Mark here for that part of the discussion, because that would kind of be underneath the roads purview, wouldn't it? I would imagine, because we would want that to be somebody who could go down, you know, to Glenwood or go to Kamado or go to Daddle and service units
And that
at
is,
each one of those places and basically share between all the districts.
and that's the discussion I had with Mark and the sheriff. So originally, this came up a couple months ago with the sheriff, and so I broached it with Mark saying I'd like to house this person out of one of your road department facilities. Primarily, probably the reserve spot,
Right.
just to utilize the used oil containers and things like that, right?
And I believe between the sheriff and Mark, they said their budgets already have the dollars that would justify a full-time position.
Correct, so just running some preliminary numbers with Becky on what the county has used, paid 3 vendors that we use for vehicle maintenance. We had expended about $80,000 just with 3 vendors. And that, it captures a lot of the fire vehicles would be something that if this person is qualified, they could work on that, so.
Right.
Make a motion?
Yes.
So, I'll motion that we include in the preliminary budget a part-time building maintenance position and a full-time vehicle maintenance position at, what was the salary?
Well, that,
We haven't determined that yet. The part-time, building maintenance is probably going to have their own tools and things of that nature, so I think that, and also with the vehicle maintenance, right? So I think we need to, the salary needs to reflect those, that aspect that they'll have to bring
Okay,
their own
so
tools.
salary to be determined.
Yeah.
I'll second.
okay. It's been motioned and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Item C, consideration of resolution 60-2025, approval of the 2025-2026 preliminary budget. Is there any discussion?
There she is.
I apologize.
Good timing.
I don't have it.
If there's no discussion, is it?
motion with the raises that were requested as well as the positions, one is contract and one is employee.
Okay. So I'll make that motion. I motion that we pass the resolution 60-2025 with the inclusions of the pay raises that have been discussed and the creation of the part-time position and the vehicle maintenance
Those were for
position.
the
Oh.
clerk's office, is that right?
Oh, the clerks.
There was the 2 for the clerk's office.
Those,
Okay.
that's what we're talking about.
Yeah,
the
oh,
raises.
for the
And-
election deal.
And-
Okay, so
and,
not that.
Extension office, did you address that one, the extension office?
Tracy talk, isn't that
He's
what
at, so he's at 72 right now, and he couldn't be back here to tell me. He's at 72 right now, and, the university, I guess, is asking for like 75 something, and he said to me that what that does is it helps, like, pay his position that he's trying to get. He can't get anybody in there because the pay's not up to par.
Could
and
we
so-
discuss this?
Yes, this is part of the budget.
Okay.
Yeah,
And the university's gonna cover that cost?
no.
No,
No,
they're
the
asking
county
you to
is.
cover the
They're
cost.
asking that, Yeah, and we don't have to agree to it, it's just bringing it before you. You can keep it at 72 or move it up, it's up to you.
But they're not paying what they initially agreed upon anyway.
I don't know anything about that. I just know that.
Anita,
So the way extension office has been paid in the past, I don't know if it's changed, is you get so much money from the state, so much money for the feds, and so
Right.
much money from the county. What I had always asked for was a full budget to see where that money's going. Never got it, but I always asked for it.
right, well, see, and it was supposed to be a third,
Mm-hmm.
but the county's paying over
Half.
half, over half.
Yeah.
When did that happen?
Well, basically, we're paying 40 something out of the 72.
Yeah, this is the second year.
Yeah,
But the first time that I dealt with the extension office, I remember it was a huge blow up. I did ask Tracy to give us a budget. Where are you spending this money? And I never got it. Cause I wanted to know if the county is putting up 40,000, where's that 40,000? Is it going to the assistance position? Is it going towards your vehicle? Because remember, the county does give him a vehicle in kind as well.
Right.
But I never got one. I don't know if you guys were able to get a budget from the extension office, cause there was a lot of money that was being spent and I didn't know where the county was paying into it, and I always felt like we needed to know.
Why don't we ask him for a budget?
This can always, I mean, you can always do this with a budget adjustment resolution if you don't want, if you can't. If you
Yeah,
want-
next
want-
month.
Yeah, we haven't asked him for a budget. We did ask him where the income was coming from, what conduits it was flowing through.
I would say itemized budget.
Yeah, it's a
And
good
I just
idea.
got basically it wasn't budget, but yeah.
okay, so before any change, yes, ma'am?
And also I wanted to address, I'm sorry for being late, I wanted to address, Hayden, you guys had asked about the insurance that had tripled, and you asked me to get in contact with our insurance, and I did, and yes, it is due to the 2022 incident, and they run in 5-year increments, so it will stay that, and it won't drop off until 2027.
Wow.
Yeah, so
Okay.
that was what they told me.
I think we have a motion, less the extension office, so we can go with that motion.
Yep.
And I didn't raise it in the budget, it's still at 75, so it doesn't have to be changed, 72.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be changed.
So there's a motion on the table?
Yes.
I second.
Okay, it's been motioned and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Direction to staff regarding Lily Laney versus BOCC.
No action.
No action taken. Okay, next commission meeting, June 11th, 2025, 9 a.m. Here at the Fire Administration Building. Meeting is adjourned. Oh, what?
Do we need a motion?
No.
Madam Clerk? No?
Excuse me.
I have a question.
Yes.
No, I'm sorry I'm late, I was out of town.
Yep.
Other county business, I understand my name came up at this meeting earlier. Maybe a couple of different issues I'd like, is it possible for you to clarify what was said and understand what was said earlier and respond to that? My understanding, number one, is that Starlink was gonna be put in all fire vehicles and District Chiefs agreed to pay for that.
I'm sorry?
The Starlink communications are gonna be put in fire department vehicles, is that correct?
The county is willing to pay for the equipment.
And who's gonna pay for the installation, repair, and maintenance of this? Of all these units in the vehicles? Because if that comes out of the fire district budget, you need fire chief's approval. Again,
No, this wasn't on the agenda, no action's been taken on this. It's just
Yeah,
been
there's
discussed.
no action. There's nothing it's just a discussion and we're offering to purchase the units. That is for the fire chiefs to discuss
Okay.
on how it would be paid. But the thing is there, and the units to be utilized, there's lots of different plans. There's one that's 10 gigabytes for $10 a month. There's no obligation. So you can get the Starlink unit and you can never activate it. You can put it in your office and not activate it. It would be of no charge to the fire chief. You decide to activate it, you could activate it for a month and say, you know what, we're not using this unit. Call.
Okay,
and deny the subscription. So basically, if you got the unit, there would be no cost to your deal unless you decided to subscribe to either the $10 plan, the $50 plan, or the $165 unlimited plan, depending on how you utilized it.
Understood, and I appreciate that explanation.
But it would be giving each department the unit to have a communication access where there is no cell phone coverage. And that's what we're trying to provide the sheriff's department with, the road crew with, is just some units, and the assessor's office, an ability to communicate where there is no cell coverage or anything else.
Unless there's no satellite coverage either, and there are plenty of areas in the county
And
like that.
Larry, just to clarify, that the fire administrator was to go back to the fire chiefs to discuss.
Yeah, and get us an idea of if there was, one unit per each station or what.
Okay.
But we just needed to know because there's a sale on them, and before the 28th, the sale ends.
And it's wonderful new technology for
There's not
all
like-
of our EM.
I
Yeah,
mean, there's-
Audrey can testify. There isn't very many places that you don't get.
And there's not, like, the maintenance on them, like, if there's something wrong with the unit, you send it back and they send you another one. And to install them, it takes 5 minutes. You just plug it in and it's there.
Okay, my next question is on the state 700 meg system. As I understand, we're looking into that. We're looking into getting on the state 700 meg radio system.
No, to clarify on that aspect, your fire administrator
I
had
don't know what
mentioned
that is.
that you were looking at,
It's almost like he's complaining.
No, you'll have to talk with Brad on that.
being provided a fire engine that may need modifications to its existing,
Can you guys okay this? Did you guys skip this email?
So that wasn't part of the discussion.
the,
He had advised that
for
the
this
existing
press
radio
release,
in that unit would need to be changed out
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's
I
not
okayed it.
compatible
Yes,
with
yeah,
our
I'm good with
system.
it,
That
too.
was the
I'm
only
just gonna send them an email. and say
Sure.
that.
discussion on that
Yeah.
aspect.
Okay, because I am not working on the
It's a good
700.
thing.
No, and that wasn't
Yeah.
brought up, yeah.
Yeah,
Any
Mary-
blessing?
He
Mary
was
Ellis
very
is-
Are you good
specific
with it?
that it was not compatible.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Are you good?
Thank you.
Okay.
All right.
So we adjourn.
Deb, those two are good with John.
What-
That email.